Homeworthy at KBIS Live Studio. I'm Alison Kenworthy, founder of Homeworthy, and we are coming to you live once again from the show floor in Orlando, Florida. After 2 days of non-stop live coverage here at our media center, the energy at KBIS is palpable. With more than 650 exhibitors across nearly 500,000 square feet, we are seeing all of the hottest trends in kitchen and bath. And today we're proud to be the official media partner of KBIS, presented by the National Kitchen and Bath Association, the leading professional organization for the kitchen and bath industry in North America. And today we're diving into the trends, technologies, and conversations shaping what's next. From breakthrough product launches to candid conversations with top designers, architects, and brand leaders, we're bringing you the stories behind the most talked about moments of the show. And joining us now is interior designer Lisa Gilmore, known for creating spaces that mix glamour with livability. Welcome.
Thank you.
I love your Homeworthy green that you're wearing.
Yeah.
You have dressed for the occasion.
Kismet.
And here I am in the neutral.
That's okay. We can balance well.
But we're so happy to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
How did you develop such an affection for color?
Oh gosh, it's just always been there.
Really?
Yeah, it really has. My great grandmother was an art teacher and was teaching me how to paint when I was like 5, and I've just always been in a very colorful atmosphere, and it's just always been part of my life.
Do you always wear the red lip?
Yes.
Signature?
Pretty much, yeah. It's rare that I'm not.
I love it. I love it. So Lisa, you're known for your bold and confident interiors. How do you define what luxury looks like today?
You know, luxury is such a word that is so overused in my opinion, and I feel like luxury is such a luxury, and it's just something from within, and that's what livable glamour means to me for my company is whatever is glamorous to you. It could be denim and cotton, or it could be velvet and chandeliers. We're going to take that, we're going to make it livable, and we're going to make it in your environment, and that's true luxury, to live with what you love daily.
And to be comfortable?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And to be comfortable.
Uh-huh.
So have you noticed that more clients are asking for homes that feel authentic and lived in? And if you are, what does that really mean?
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, for the past few years, I feel like everything was about like practicality and does it stain? Will it leave a ring mark on the counter? And while that's nice, I think people are kind of like, oh, like, it's too clean almost, you know what I mean? And so people are kind of embracing, like when they travel to Europe and the stone has, you know, a natural ring on it and stuff like that, and like enjoying that patina of life. And so that's what I'm seeing is people are being a little bit open to not being so perfect.
So perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting you say that because at Homeworthy, you know, we feature homes and people all over the world. Mm-hmm. And they're long form episodes. Mm-hmm. And the idea is to really showcase how people truly live. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be perfect. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be staged. Mm-hmm. If you don't normally have fresh flowers in every single room of your house, like there should not be flowers there in every single room of your house during our shoot, because we really want to see how people live. And I think that there's this natural curiosity today to see how people are authentically living.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm really seeing and enjoying is a lot of our clients are coming with more curious collections, I'll say. So like right now we're working on a project and they just have all kinds of travel and finds from the world, and I love like framing scarves and funky coasters from your favorite vacation and stuff like that. Like those are the things that are conversation and about your life and how you live, and so I love working that kind of stuff into the authentic factor.
Well, we're going to bring in some of your photos in just a minute so we can talk about it. But why do you think more homeowners are ready to move past safe design today?
Ooh, that's a good question too. I think it's really about wanting to feel more personally, you know? Oh. I think we're like in a big time like post-COVID and working from home, and people travel a lot from work, and the luxury to be able to travel. And I feel that people are really understanding that like our environment really truly shapes us, and it really does help our well-being and our everyday life and how we show up in the world to our families, to our partners, to our businesses. And so I think people are just really kind of ready to crack that hard shell open and be their truest self within their space and not be afraid and feel safe.
when you are working with color, and like this room in particular,
Yeah.
this is beautiful.
Thank
Where
you.
did you start with this room?
Oh gosh. So this room, I was really inspired by Dorothy Draper in this room.
I can tell.
And I just, the first time I saw this room, I knew, I was like, we have to do some kind of killer balance situation here. And it was a very small space, small footprint. And I just leaned into the green, and she worked from home,
And you like green. I'm sensing a trend here.
yeah,
as we
this
look
is
at
all the
this
same
one,
house.
too.
So this is the adjoining room to that space we just went through.
Oh.
So you can see how it connects, but they're very different. So we just leaned it so you can see the little peak there.
And the art that you've put in.
Yes, and that's something so great. I love working with independent artists, or that she had a lot of that already, and then we fill in and curate and stuff like that.
I don't know who this person is, but they seem like the perfect client for you because they really let you go wild.
They did, and we mixed a lot of antique pieces, and like those dining chairs were existing that she had, and we recovered them and put like white lacquer on them, and they became modern, not French country anymore.
Right. And the couch is beautiful too.
Thank you. I love a good pattern sofa.
Pattern couch.
Yeah.
And then what about the is that a coffee table?
It's an ottoman.
An ottoman.
So that's one of my signature things too, along with my red lips. I love to do custom ottomans. And so I'm going to say like 98% of my projects have LGD, Lisa Gilmore custom ottomans in
Cool.
them. And so like that one specifically were these really cool crystal claw feet, antique, and we made them into this fun poof. So
I love that.
thank you. And it's a great way to like break up a space and carry it around. Ottomans are fun.
How do you balance using daring colors, but also like making sure the room is timeless and can last a long time? So somebody doesn't, say for example, in 2 years get sick of like a peach wall.
Yeah, that's a great question. So for me, it's like really about internal gut checks, you know? And so like for me as a designer, getting to know the client and understanding like where I can push you and where I can't, because it's my job to give you what you didn't even know could exist. And so if it's a situation where I'm sensing a client is really not sure, maybe I'll be more daring with paint because that would be a less expensive change should
And
they
you can
hate it.
also fix it quickly.
Exactly, fix it quickly. So I think in ways of that. So like if it's something that you're really nervous about, just kind of dip your toes into the color. Don't feel like you have to go full tilt crazy with it, you know?
You can start with accessories.
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. Now, are you seeing any trends in terms of colors that are hot right now?
Honestly, I feel like no color is off limits right now, which is so exciting. I just love color so much, and to have so many people, and even being here at the show and seeing so many sinks now that we can get in like pinks and
That's
blues
fun.
and greens. I'm like, this is crazy. This is so exciting. You know, and so I feel like every color is welcomed right now, and that's just super exciting. And that's kind of my mantra with my business that I deliver. And just
Do you have a favorite color to work with?
personally,
Yes.
green is my
Green,
favorite color.
green. Hence the outfit.
Yeah.
But this is a beautiful like aubergine that we're seeing.
So this is what I call my raspberry room, and this was the room that really launched my career in color. And it was like the room that was a little scary for the client because we wanted to color drench it. And this is back in 2017. So color drenching was like,
kind of a new thing then.
yeah, and there's a space there. And I remember the husband was a little nervous. I did a rendering, an illustration, and the wife was like, yes, let's
This
do
is it.
this. And
But wait, hold on, a neutral.
yep, a neutral, and then, but you got the blue, and the we
okay,
got
the orange.
So that's a color
Okay,
blocking space there.
okay.
But they ended up loving it, and the husband was like, I feel like it's just like this big raspberry hug. And I'm like, a raspberry hug? That's so
You're like,
good.
that's a great phrase.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you can use that for other projects.
Yes.
We're going to give you a raspberry. And this is beautiful too. So it's
Thank
sort
you.
of like there's a balance between the wallpaper and the simplicity of the vanity.
Yeah, and that's what I always tell people too when it comes to color. Color is, browns, it's all these different things. It doesn't mean you have to have that raspberry room. And
Right.
it's all about the balance and what makes you feel comfortable. And like you said about the fresh flowers, don't force yourself.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
Okay, is there like a dream client? Like it can be so aspirational and not ever happening, but you can manifest it.
Yeah.
You would love to work with who embraces color.
Oh gosh, I have to be honest, like a lot of my clients are dream clients.
Oh.
Yeah, and like we're actually onboarding a really amazing project right now in Sarasota that's going to be vintage circus inspired and old Florida nostalgia. So everyone tune in.
Cool.
It's going to be good.
That
it's going to be
sounds
really
like
good.
it needs to be a Homeworthy feature.
It will. It should be. She was actually in the circus at one point. Now she's a mental health professional, but she was in the Netherlands and she was a professional ice skater.
Oh my gosh.
And then her and her husband got married at Ringling Museum, and when they came to me and she was telling me about all these things, it's basically like this joyful home of curiosity. They have 2 kids. They want it to be just like this beautiful mind experience.
Well, this sounds like a great story and a
so
great
excited.
project.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking we need to figure out a way to
Yes.
get this featured.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for stopping by. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you talking all things color with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And up next, we're joined by Bill Darcy, CEO of the NKBA, and Geraldine Morrison, Chief Partnerships Officer, as we take a bigger picture look at the forces shaping the future of home. Don't go away. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you
were
for having me.
fantastic.
Yes, this was so fun.
I love the idea of that new project that you have.
Thank you. I'm so excited about it. We'll have to stay in touch. And
This segment is sponsored by GE Appliances. Explore good things for life, built for America.
Built for America is a lot bigger than just making a product in a building.
The best in class, best quality ranges.
Some of the highest quality top freezer refrigerators in the country.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dishwashers every day.
In comparison to our competitors, nobody else has the distribution delivery capabilities that we do.
We run over 72 miles of steel a day.
We are designing them, we're sourcing them, we're building them, we're distributing them right here.
That's what Built for America means to me.
KBIS is about the way our homes support daily life, from morning routines to evening wind downs. Today on Homeworthy, we're counting down 5 standout bathrooms designed to feel both functional yet indulgent. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Everyone loves the powder room. I did this beautiful wallpaper, bird and thistle. This comes in a couple of colorways. I love the green, and then I paired it with a high gloss green paint on all of the trim. This room also had flagstone, which was just not very fitting for my personal style, so I did a white marble in here with a new sink with all of these brass details and all brass accessories. Paired with a little bit neutral, like a Roman shade, just to kind of tone it down and some more natural elements in here. And this room is kind of divided up into 2, but we treated it as one room for cohesiveness. So the powder room, there's really kind of like a powder your nose area and a washroom area. And I feel like this is always a crowd favorite with the high gloss. It's a really beautiful green. We have 2 rooms in our home that are really more like dark and cozy. This is one of those rooms because instead of a traditional light fixture in here, I opted for a brass fixture. So the light fixture actually has brass chandelier shades as well. So the whole shade is metal, which is a really fun touch. So this, I feel like, is one of the statement pieces from the exterior of the home, this round window, and I love that they put all of the grids in. And this is actually in the stone portion of the house, and so on the exterior, it's a circle window out of the stone, which is really beautiful.
Okay, so let's talk about the primary bathroom for a minute. This is the room I was telling you that was in some publications, and that's always really exciting. I'm really proud of it because we really took it all the way down and rebuilt it. And by we, I mean our contractor, but I came up with the design. So for starters, this wall back here was actually inspired by a 19th century wall molding that I saw on eBay, and I almost actually bought the wall molding that I found and had it delivered, and then my contractor said he can recreate it, which would be way easier. So what we did was I came up with the idea of using corbels facing each other to create the arch. He just ended up having to kind of extend it a little bit so it didn't come to a point. It ended up being more of an archway. And then he added a little bit of a lip so that I can have candles or artwork. I found this tapestry on eBay and it really reminded me of that scene in Beauty and the Beast where she's twirling around reading and singing. I love it. Again, with the bust guy. This book, it's called The Ultimate Bath. It's from Barbara Stalick, who owns Waterworks, and our bathroom is actually in this book. It's at the table of contents, which is pretty awesome. This pedestal is vintage. Found it on eBay. I loved that it was lucite. I just thought it was really funky and cool and a good juxtaposition with a more classic bust. And then this clawfoot tub is so fabulous. It's a dreamy tub. When this was featured in Better Homes and Gardens, the writer said that this space was like a living room, but instead of a sofa, it had a fabulous clawfoot tub, which I loved that. It does feel like a living space, but with a clawfoot tub in it. And I really thought this light was pretty cool. That's from Shades of Light. One thing that we did was there was a door here to the water closet, and we took it out and did a sliding door instead because it just saved space. And then I painted this and the closet the same color. This is Palm Leaf by Sherwin-Williams. And then what I love is there's a little surprise of the wallpaper in here because I kept it very simple and classic with just white. But in here, I wanted it to be a little bit of a little jewel box. And again, because it's like handwritten script, it almost looks like a diary or a storybook in keeping with the theme of kind of like each room feeling like a storybook. So that's this. Even this, the ladder, even that has an arch shape. I wanted it to speak to the arches on the wall. These are 19th century doors I found on eBay. There were 2 doorknobs. I promise it. There's a reason why we had to take it off. It's a long story, but we put it on a slider here, and then this leads to our closet. I just thought these were so cool. Again, the arch was really cool. It was actually a blue door, and we had it stripped, and then I painted it the same color as the water closet door. But again, something old paired with something really new and beautiful like these knobs I thought was really special. And then again, a little arch in that artwork and more statues.
This is my bathroom. I mentioned this is his and hers, so this is my bathroom. And I used a vinyl wallpaper, very affordable. It's by Brewster Home. It comes in another colorway. These cabinets are from Home Depot, and I just changed out the knobs over the years a couple of times. And since there's not like a ton of counter space, I bought this tray and I just kind of stuck it like between them, and it has a little bit of extra counter space for me. And this is just like an old candle holder and my soap pump, just to make it a little fancier. We used to have a window in this bathroom right here, but the garden room is on the other side. So I love natural light and I was missing it. So I worked with Velux. They did the sun tunnels in here and the skylights. And so this was a way to bring in some natural light.
It's cozy. We love the mirrors. We love the antique mirrors on the back. And then with these beautiful mirrors on top, I think it adds so much character to the whole bathroom. Again, we picked the pink marble tops, which I love. And then we added these little curtains underneath, you know, inspired by Santiago growing up going to his grandfather's house. And we just literally needed more space for, you know, putting all the things that you put in the bathroom. So we loved it. Our towels were done by Leontine Line Linens. She's awesome. So, you know, the beautiful monograms, our bathtub. I love like the cornice too with the bathtub. Oh yeah, and the wallpaper, the striped pink. Everybody was like, oh, and what does Santiago think about the pink wallpaper? And I think pink is a very neutral color. It's very romantic and feminine, but it's also very neutral. And especially when it goes to that mauve-like tone, I think it's very neutral and I love it. And then this fun detail, these tools I got in Round Top not so long ago. And, they're from the 70s, a designer from the 70s, a furniture designer. And we've been loving them because we needed somewhere to sit, put shoes on, put, a towel or whatever, some space. And then the tile, I love the pink on the tile. It has a little bit of a light pink on it, and it's so fun and beautiful.
This is the bathroom that I was talking about. It originally was a Jack and Jill, and it was a shared bathroom, which connected my daughter's room and my son's room. And so we walled it off. We ended up doing like a really cool mirror so it doesn't look like it was a breeze through. But this is his bathroom. I would take this bathroom. It has so much storage, has the double sink. Something that I think is really cool is that it has a bathtub and it has a separate shower. So it really was built to function for like multiple children. But now Ralph just gets to enjoy it. So that's pretty fun. And he has so many little like storage spaces that were here. I just, put my own spin on it, if you will. The wood paneling was originally like a wood, and so I had it all refinished and painted to white dove, which is the house paint.
Good.
Heckling.
Welcome back, everyone. Joining us now in the Homeworthy KBIS Live Studio, Bill Darcy, CEO of the NKBA, and Geraldine Morrison, Chief Partnerships Officer for Domestic and Global Brands at NKBA. And they're here to break down why NKBA is the ultimate home for designers and brands and give us a peek at the future of the home and the market forces shaping it. Welcome, you two.
Thank you.
The superstars.
Thank you
for
having
us.
Oh,
This event.
So great to be here with you.
This is your Super Bowl.
It is.
How
it is.
long have you been preparing for this week?
Pretty much. Well, Monday will start for next year.
Yeah.
So it's a full year process.
There's
for
no
sure.
rest for the weary.
No, there is not.
But you must be so proud as you look around, having built this and what it is today. 650 exhibitors, 500,000 square feet of innovations. What does this mean to you?
When my friends call me and they say, we're going to do our kitchen over, I said, make sure the first question you ask, if you're the professional you're working with, have they been to KBIS? If they say no, you probably want to keep looking, because there's no way, if you don't come here, you can experience all the you see it, you walk around, it's insane.
Yeah.
But the discovery of products, and it's just an amazing thing that we're very blessed to have it at NKBA owning this event. And it gives us an annual celebration for the industry, as well as the products and the learning, but it's really an energizing boost to the industry on an annual basis.
It starts the year off the right way for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, it's so big that this is day 3 of live broadcasting today. I walked in and I got lost for a second.
Oh my.
And I was like, wait a second, where am I? There's so much to look at and see and learn about. But Bill, what are the biggest forces shaping the kitchen and bath industry right now?
Well, economically, last year was a challenge, and it's been for a few years. So there's a lot of macroeconomic forces that we cannot control. However, I think the pent-up demand is there. We know it's there. And last year, it started with this economic unrest a bit, but we saw the brand show up in full force and the designers in full force to see the product. So that was inspiring from us from an industry perspective, knowing the demand is there. Here we go, fast forward another year forward, the same is happening. So, we see now the recovery happening, middle of 26, but despite that, the energy for the products and innovation has not lifted, as well as the specifiers influence to the consumer, and making sure they are prepared for these. The luxury side, I think we've been good, but the middle market is been the challenge, and respectfully so.
I think what's so exciting about the show is that for people who have been coming here for years and years and years, you continue to offer just excitement, even for people who have been coming for a long time. And for new people, just to see the look on their face when they walk into these convention halls, it's really unbelievable.
Spectacular.
Yeah. Geraldine, let's talk a moment about these incredible collaborations and partnerships that you're working on, and how they sort of move the show forward.
Sure. I mean, collaboration is everywhere. That's the theme, today. Collaboration, networking, all of those kinds of things. And in fact, I was just chatting with Cassandra Brand a couple nights ago, and she told the story of how she met you just a few months ago, and now she's got a program within Homeworthy. And so she's a longtime NKBA member, has come to the show for years, and it's just about connecting with brands. So we love hearing those stories. We love just connecting designers with brands, retailers, et cetera. And it's just been such a great situation, and it just builds the awareness for the industry, builds awareness for our field, and really just keeps that energy and momentum going for the show and all the events that we do throughout the year.
Well, I remember meeting the both of you last year in Las Vegas, and that's how we first connected. And then in the fall, I was in Arizona speaking at the Women to Women NKBA conference, and met so many incredible people there who I've also seen here.
The amount of conversations we're hearing, like, oh my God, we met Alison at Women to Women, and here she is. I mean, the connection, even
how did that
ironically,
happen?
that you've created this relationship with a core group of very affluent design community members. Seeing you here just reinforces that. I mean, we're so thankful for you to participate and for your amazing fans, of which you have
I'm
one.
a super fan.
High-ranking fan.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. It's not a secret.
Geraldine, we should probably bring our camera crew over to your house, and maybe yours too, and do Homeworthy features. No, but it's more than. I mean, you're creating real connection here, and people are coming back, and they're finding their friends, and I think that's a really powerful thing.
Yeah, it's super powerful. I think it's almost like a family reunion when you come. I came from a couple different industries, so appliances, plumbing, et cetera. And in fact, we ran into a group of people from my plumbing days, and it was just a big happy reunion. And we all spread out and become employees and folks at other companies, but we stay with that connection. And every year, this is where we come back, exchange ideas, exchange knowledge, and make new connections as well.
One thing that makes us unique, and just to compliment on what Geraldine is saying, is that we represent manufacturers, designers, remodelers, and retail. So we're very unique in the trade association world to have these different sectors. So we inherently are connectors year round, and this just is like a tentpole moment annually where all these connections come together, and the complement of the Builder Show as well, and having all those builders visit our brands, and our designers visit the Builder Show too. So it's really just this huge complement to the industry, and becoming the biggest event, it is the biggest event in North America for our industry.
And it becomes electric. When you have all of that energy, when we get together, it's like sparks are flying, and we're just, it just sets us up for the year so well. And we have so many other activities that are happening through the year where we get these moments throughout the calendar year to reconnect. But again, it really starts here.
Super Bowl.
It really starts here. Absolutely.
This is the big game. So one thing that people have been talking about actually as they've been moving through this studio is sustainability. And I think it's top of mind across the industry. How is the NKBA guiding members towards environmentally friendly long-term solutions?
Sure, I can take that. So, as an association, we don't influence product or development or anything like that, but certainly we make information available to our members. And so through the programming that we offer throughout the year, be it education or events, we continually focus on making sure that members understand what's out there and what our brands are doing. So be it, conservation of water, conservation of energy, or even wellness, products that have less material, less chemical, those kinds of things. We bring all of that information forward and make it available. And really through our member networks and our chapters, keep promoting that message throughout the year. And the chapters do a great job as well in hosting events regularly and just keeping that information flowing so that individually, designers or brands or their consumers know what's going on and what's healthy and what's not. And we really pride ourselves on being able to be that pathway for all of that information.
I have to say that some of the technology that we're seeing on the floor is just mind-blowing. Someone was talking about yesterday on the show an oven that basically doesn't allow you to burn your
Right,
food.
right.
They've got cameras in the oven.
It detects the product and determines the. It's really.
There are refrigerators that have AI built in now where it knows exactly what you're putting in. It'll say, oh, that's broccoli, okay. And then it'll also tell you like how dated your broccoli is and that you've got to refresh it. So
just again, why
it's
you,
amazing.
I mean, if you're in the profession of this industry, I have a hard time understanding if you're not coming here. Listen, it's a plane ticket and some hotel nights.
Right.
But the value is so massive, and the consumer is getting the maximum potential for what they're looking for. Yes, they're doing their own discovery, and today we know the consumers are much more informed than they've been, and they continue to be more and more. They're showing up with a lot of these thoughts, but they're not here. I mean, this is a trade event, so you need a trade partner like an NKBA member to deliver that.
Absolutely.
And where do you see this? You have to come. It's just part of the DNA of what you do to best deliver the project guidance to your consumer.
Well, and you can't beat the in-person experience where you get to touch and feel and talk and really view all of the exhibitors who are here as teachers, where you're getting just this one-on-one education, and I think it's just completely invaluable.
Yeah, it's so critical to be here one-on-one because, as you said, you can touch, you can feel, you can see, and that's so important because you're working on people's homes, right? It's the most intimate part of their lives, and so you need that level of connectivity, that level of intimacy to know what's out there to bring back to your consumers if you're designing or as a retailer and what you're providing in distribution.
Bill, it's hard to imagine the show even bigger than it already is, but as you look ahead to the future, how do you see some of the biggest opportunities and challenges?
Yeah, we actually do see a lot more growth. I don't know where we're going to put everyone, but we'll figure that out. I think
there's a lot of demand.
The global interest for brands, I mean, Geraldine and I have spent a lot of time in Europe, especially, and in South America, and there's a lot of brands, especially Germany, Italy, Brazil, that have a lot of desire. They're here, and they have pavilions already.
We have their media here as well,
But also the whole home. It's interesting. I mean, home is in your name, and it's what makes us, connected to humanity and consumers. But it's truly what else is in the home. So as the kitchen continues to take over a bigger footprint in the home, and the dining room is no longer there, and the living room is sort of in the kitchen, and to me it's like it's the first floor sort of is your kitchen. The products that are adjacent to what's traditionally an appliance or surface or flooring or cabinets is getting involved in, because we are the biggest way you can influence a specifier. So if you're an interior designer and you may start in the living room, okay, well guess what, the kitchen is sort of connected, and is that something that because your relationship with the consumer is driving what their decisions are. So if you hire somebody that's interior, don't you want to continue to work with them? And so the interior designer is getting more involved in the kitchen and bath. The kitchen and bath designer is getting more involved in the rest of the home.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you have so many people and so many companies who are interested in coming that you have a space issue.
We do. In Vegas, I mean, we're oversold here. We have exhibits in the hotel because we are the biggest event in Orange County Convention Center annually. And we didn't even really, I mean, it's the acceleration of the growth is amazing, but Vegas is where we can grow biggest. That's why we're going there next year, and we'll stay there. And just, they feed people, you
transport
house people.
This is a good problem to have for you two.
Vegas is the master for how you execute a massive event in growth. So the way we grow and deliver is really exciting to see the people in Las Vegas, and they've invested big in their convention center as well. So premier experiences, when you have a designer audience coming to anything, whether our events, there's high stakes for optic. Like you have to over deliver, and it's very hard. But I think we can.
We work hard towards it.
We work hard
towards it, and we learn and we evolve, and we just want to keep leveling up and ensuring that experience for everyone is amazing, and keep them coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do the next 5 to 10 years look like for you, for NKBA?
I think, again, more home-related products. I mean, listen, there are some other brands in certain categories that we have to find room for. They're interested. We've had an accelerated interest this last couple of years, and even here, while we're live here at the event, major global brands that all your viewers would know. How do we get in? How do we come back? How do that type of thing? So, I mean, that's what we see. We see even a bigger event. Again, it's hard to imagine because you're here with packed halls and packed floors. But we will find a way to continue to grow this event. And I think my goal has always been the biggest event globally. I mean, and I do feel that's an attainable thing for us. We've always heard from international designers, there's amazing shows around the world, but they know KBIS is where you specify. There's inspiration here. I don't think we get enough credit for it. You go to certain markets where it's like, oh, it's inspiration, but they can't get the product. And if you have a massive project, where are you coming? I think it's everybody knows this is where it is. It's more how do we influence these adjacent interior influencers that KBIS is a critical part of your journey annually, and that you have to come to deliver the best quality project to your consumer.
Well, and especially as companies are in the tech space are becoming even more prevalent. I would imagine those are really coming into your fold.
Smart home, and it's interesting, I present at smart home technology events, big shows, and many of those brands have told me, but we need to be a KBIS, because they know the designer is influencing the consumer. It's not all about just this project management thing. It's a friend of the consumer who tell me what I should do. And it's super confusing and it's super complicated. They try to make it easy, but I think the trust factor that a designer has with the homeowner would allow more discovery and development and more product purchase. And there are some brands that I think would do very, very well to be at KBIS, because it's all part of this home specification experience.
Sure. What's one thing about NKBA that might surprise people outside of the industry?
Well, first, I would say, outside of the industry, we own this show. NKBA owns the KBIS show, and I think that's an interesting nugget of information that sometimes surprises people even here. But as an association, it's a really special treasure that we have, and that we have this show. I think the broad story is, everything that you would need for your home and designing your home is here. And so it's just a wonderful composition of everything that you can imagine. Over 3 days, really compressed, really amazing, high energy, and it's just a terrific experience all the way around.
What does joining mean? Like, why to be part of a community? There's we have 70 chapters in North America, so at the day-to-day level, month-to-month level, you can network with your peers in retail and manufacturing and design, and have a friend in your community in many markets. And then annually, you come here and you get jacked up for the rest of the year and see all these great products. So it's really touching the trade all year long. I mean, that's our job. When you leave KBIS, you're going to go back home, and how do you continue this? So we show up at events. I mean, I think that's a big thing. We bring the events to the people, not just KBIS, but a lot of great market events in the U.S. that happen all year long, and internationally. We'll be in
Milan
Europe.
in a few months, or a month and a half.
So we were in Paris a few weeks ago. So
you too. Yeah. This is incredible.
We have many more trips this year. So
well, bravo. This has just been a spectacular show. We have so enjoyed being here for 3 days and meeting all of your vendors and your guests, and it's well done.
Well, thank you
equally. We're honored to have you here. We're honored to have your viewers get a little piece and a little taste.
Just the beginning, you two. It's just the beginning.
We love it, Alison.
Geraldine, Bill, thank you so
much.
Thank you. Up next, we have Nikki Levy, the designer who makes bold color feel effortless, luxurious, and unforgettable. Don't go away. How fab! You guys are great!
This segment is sponsored by GE Appliances. Explore good things for life, built for America.
Built for America is a lot bigger than just making a product in a building.
The best in class, best quality ranges.
Some of the highest quality top freezer refrigerators in the country.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dishwashers every day.
In comparison to our competitors, nobody else has the distribution delivery capabilities that we do.
We run over 72 miles of steel a day.
We are designing them, we're sourcing them, we're building them, we're distributing them right here.
That's what Built for America means to me.
KBIS is about the way our homes support daily life, from morning routines to evening wind-downs. Today on Homeworthy, we're counting down 5 standout bathrooms designed to feel both functional yet indulgent. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Everyone loves the powder room. I did this beautiful wallpaper, bird and thistle. This comes in a couple of colorways. I loved the green, and then I paired it with a high gloss green paint on all of the trim. This room also had flagstone, which was just not very fitting for my personal style, so I did a white marble in here with a new sink with all of these brass details and all brass accessories. Paired with a little bit neutral, like a Roman shade, just to kind of tone it down and some more natural elements in here. And this room is kind of divided up into two, but we treated it as one room for cohesiveness. So the powder room, there's really kind of like a powder your nose area and a washroom area. And I feel like this is always a crowd favorite with the high gloss. It's a really beautiful green. We have two rooms in our home that are really more like dark and cozy. This is one of those rooms because instead of a traditional light fixture in here, I opted for a brass fixture. So the light fixture actually has brass chandelier shades as well. So the whole shade is metal, which is a really fun touch. So this I feel like is one of the statement pieces from the exterior of the home, this round window, and I love that they put all of the grids in. And this is actually in the stone portion of the house, and so on the exterior, it's a circle window out of the stone, which is really beautiful.
Okay, so let's talk about the primary bathroom for a minute. This is the room I was telling you that was in some publications, and that's always really exciting. I'm really proud of it because we really took it all the way down and rebuilt it. And by we, I mean our contractor, but I came up with the design. So for starters, this wall back here was actually inspired by a 19th century wall molding that I on eBay, and I almost actually bought the wall molding that I found and had it delivered, and then my contractor said he can recreate it, which would be way easier. So what we did was I came up with the idea of using corbels facing each other to create the arch. He just ended up having to kind of extend it a little bit so it didn't come to a point. It ended up being more of an archway, and then he added a little bit of a lip so that I can have candles or artwork. I found this tapestry on eBay, and it really reminded me of that scene in Beauty and the Beast where she's twirling around reading and singing. I love it. Again, with the bust guy. This book, it's called The Ultimate Bath. It's from Barbara Stalick, who owns Waterworks, and our bathroom is actually in this book. It's at the table of contents, which is pretty awesome. This pedestal is vintage. Found it on eBay. I loved that it was lucite. I just thought it was really funky and cool and a good juxtaposition with a more classic bust. And then this clawfoot tub is so fabulous. It's a dreamy tub. When this was featured in Better Homes and Gardens, the writer said that this space was like a living room, but instead of a sofa, it had a fabulous clawfoot tub, which I loved that. It does feel like a living space, but with a clawfoot tub in it. And I really thought this light was pretty cool. That's from Shades of Light. One thing that we did was there was a door here to the water closet, and we took it out and did a sliding door instead because it just saved space. And then I painted this and the closet the same color. This is Palm Leaf by Sherwin-Williams. And then what I love is there's a little surprise of the wallpaper in here because I kept it very simple and classic with just white. But in here, I wanted it to be a little bit of a little jewel box. And again, because it's like handwritten script, it almost looks like a diary or a storybook, in keeping with the theme of kind of like each room feeling like a storybook. So that's this. Even this, the ladder, even that has an arch shape. I wanted it to speak to the arches on the wall. These are 19th century doors I found on eBay. There were two doorknobs. I promise it. There's a reason why we had to take it off. It's a long story, but we put it on a slider here, and then this leads to our closet. I just thought these were so cool. Again, the arch was really cool. It was actually a blue door, and we had it stripped, and then I painted it the same color as the water closet door. But again, something old paired with something really new and beautiful like these knobs I thought was really special. And then again, a little arch in that artwork and more statues.
This is my bathroom. I mentioned this is his and hers, so this is my bathroom. And I used a vinyl wallpaper, very affordable. It's by Brewster Home. It comes in another colorway. These cabinets are from Home Depot, and I just changed out the knobs over the years a couple of times. And since there's not like a ton of counter space, I bought this tray and I just kind of stuck it like between them, and it has a little bit of extra counter space for me. And this is just like an old candle holder and my soap pump, just to make it a little fancier. We used to have a window in this bathroom right here, but the garden room is on the other side. So I love natural light and I was missing it. So I worked with Velux. They did the sun tunnels in here and the skylights. And so this was a way to bring in some natural light.
It's cozy. We love the mirrors. We love the antique mirrors in the back. And then with these beautiful mirrors on top, I think it adds so much character to the whole bathroom. Again, we picked the pink marble tops, which I love. And then we added these little curtains underneath, you know, inspired by Santiago growing up going to his grandfather's house. And we just literally needed more space for, you know, putting all the things that you put in the bathroom. So we loved it. Our towels were done by Leontine Linens. She's awesome. So, you know, the beautiful monograms, our bathtub. I love like the cornice too with the bathtub. Oh yeah, and the wallpaper, the striped pink. You know, everybody was like, oh, and what does Santiago think about the pink wallpaper? And we actually, I think pink is a very neutral color. It's, you know, it's very romantic and feminine, but it's also very neutral. And especially when it goes to that mauve-like tone, I think it's very neutral and I love it. And then this fun detail, these tools I got in Round Top not so long ago. And, you know, they're from the 70s, a designer from the 70s, a furniture designer. And we've been loving them because we needed somewhere to sit, you know, put shoes on, put, you know, a towel or whatever, some space. And then the tile, I love the pink on the tile. It has a little bit of a light pink on it, and it's so fun and beautiful.
This is the bathroom that I was talking about. It originally was a Jack and Jill, and it was a shared bathroom, which connected my daughter's room and my son's room. And so we walled it off. We ended up doing like a really cool mirror so it doesn't look like it was a breeze through. But this is his bathroom. I would take this bathroom. It has so much storage, has the double sink. Something that I think is really cool is that it has a bathtub and it has a separate shower. So it really was built to function for like multiple children. But now Ralph just gets to enjoy it. So that's pretty fun. He has so many little like storage spaces that were here. I just, you know, put my own spin on it, if you will. The wood paneling was originally like a wood, and so I had it all refinished and painted to white dove, which is the house paint.
Welcome back, and now bringing even more color to the conversation, we're joined by Boca Raton-based designer Nikki Levy. She's here to share how statement-making hues can elevate a space and redefine what luxury looks like today. Thank you so much for coming.
Such a pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful. Well, we're excited to continue talking about color. I feel like that's a big trend that's happening now at KBIS and beyond. Nikki, how do you define bold color in luxury design today?
So I believe color is neutral. I believe the grass is green, the sky is blue, we are surrounded by color all the time, and depending on how you use it, it can either make a statement and be a small part of a grand neutral design, or it can be the full design, and it almost becomes the backdrop. So it's not a color, it's now become the neutral.
So you're saying like potentially a hot pink could turn into a neutral?
Totally.
But how do you do that? What does that mean?
We literally have just done that. We went into a home where it's very white, very clean, very beautiful, and we hot pink ombre the walls from the bottom up. And it's funny because it doesn't hit you in the face. You would think that this would, yeah, I'm telling you, it does not hit you in the face. It's really just a beautiful, gentle, there she goes.
This is it?
Yes. So it's there, it's making a statement, it's bold, but it's not overwhelming, and it's actually quite restful. I don't think everyone could live in this space, but the family who does live here are so thrilled.
But you've balanced it with white couches.
Correct.
But I love the touches of other colors too. So you've got oranges in the kitchen, and look at that cool piece of art on the coffee table, like
amazing?
Sliding down. What is that?
That was an accessory that we sourced that was just a disco ball waiting to explode, I suppose. But the whole house was just elements of fun and drama, but it doesn't eat you alive. It doesn't make you feel claustrophobic. It's very fresh, it's very happy, it's very bright.
Where do you think your love of color came from?
So I'm from South Africa. You would go on the streets of South Africa and there are women on the side of the road beating the most beautiful, brightly colored beads that you've ever seen. I have spray painted my mother's succulents in her garden when I was small because I did not approve of the monochromatic
Wait,
tone.
did you say you would spray paint succulents?
Yes.
The green
Yes. My
plants?
mom supplied me with
my
paint
God.
and let me spray paint them because I didn't love just the tone, you know. So it just is in me. It will always be in me, and it's a forever thing.
All right, you just showed us a pink room that you decorated, and your nails are hot pink. Am I catching a trend here that this might be a favorite color?
And my house is pastel pink. I love pink. Love pink.
You're so funny. I think it's fabulous. Do you use neutral colors?
Oh, if you look at my Instagram, we are very neutral, but that's the beauty of design. I don't want to be in a box. I don't want to have to be neutral. I don't want to have to be colorful. I want to be whatever I am in that moment and whatever the home speaks and tells me it needs. I am very eclectic and I want to have fun. That's why I'm in the industry. I don't want to be doing the same things over and over.
So can you use color incorrectly though?
Yes.
Well, how do you make mistakes when it comes to using color?
So I think it's, I suppose, personal. I never want to feel like I'm being taken in by a space. I want to feel fresh and alive and happy in a space. So if color hits me in the face and I feel like everywhere I look, this is color. Like for instance, this home is neutral. We use blues.
Yeah.
It's gentle. It's so pretty. It's there, but it's not taking away from the serenity of the space. I like calm. I like serene. I like comfortable. So, you know, there are people, I'm sure, who could live in a wildly crazy home. It's just not me.
Because you need places for your eyes to be able to rest.
Exactly. And also you live in this frenetic, frantic universe where everything is rushing past you. And I think when you're in your home, you want to feel that rest. You want to feel that peace, whatever that means to you.
Yeah. I feel like color is often used in living rooms and kind of more formal spaces, but how can you incorporate color into kitchens and bathrooms?
Oh, wow. I mean, what I absolutely love about design today is that there are no rules. We've done, in that house we just showed you, a bright orange hood. It was super fun. But there's wallpapers, you can paint cabinetry, you can do backdrops you can do lighting. We just did the most exquisite, totally neutral home, but did navy blue lighting, and it just looked so sensational.
How do you do navy blue lighting? What does that mean?
So we got from Truing. It's a phenomenal company. They make hand glass links, just cascading down with the balls at the end. It is so chic and so sophisticated and so stunning. It could not be more beautiful.
That's really exciting. Are you seeing certain colors that people are leaning into these days?
So at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of the burgundies and the ultra deep warm tones, which I happen to love, but I've always loved them. We actually hit that before it became a trend, and now I'm not really wanting to do it anymore because I don't want to ever be in the pocket of a trend. This is our Kips Bay house.
I was just about to ask you about it because your Kips Bay Palm Beach room made a big impression.
Oh, yes. It was really widely and well received. My Kips Bay house, in the rug, there was 81 colors. I had 2 hallways and a stairwell. In that ombre across the entire room, there were 37 colors. It was 850 square feet, and it moved from light to dark. It tracked moods. The whole theme of it was tracking a mood.
So it told a story.
A total story.
And how did you figure out how the colors would move together with each other?
So it was so interesting. So when I started designing, I was obviously in a very good mood, and I was designing light and bright. And as the days went on and I was designing the space, because I had to do it in vignettes because it was so expansive, I realized my mood was changing. And as my mood was changing, so were the colors. And in the end, I had this fresh and whimsical and romantic space. I had a bright, vibrant space. I had a dark, sort of deep teal and blue space, which sort of mimicked that cocoon, that like rest that I needed. There, you can see. So it went from the bright, happy stairwell, and then it sort of turned the corner into a very, very dark.
And you had to figure out how the colors would talk to each other because you can't have too much of a jolt, otherwise
no, that ombre, it was smoothly went from one color to the next. It was magnificent. It took 2 artists 6 weeks to do. Literally the day we got...
Not just painters, these are artists.
These were artists.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And you know what the funny thing is, again...
Oh, because here we can see how the ombre moves.
It transitions.
But look what you did also in that space with the greenery.
Yes. So that actually was me nearly killing myself on a stairwell. I love putting together greenery, and I think it's also a great way to bring color into a space.
Oh, that's a good point.
It really is. It should never be overlooked. And that's why I say green is a neutral, blue is a neutral, pink is a neutral. They're all colors found in nature.
So funny. You're working on some exciting new collaborations in tile, furniture, pottery. Can you tell us about those?
So I started my pottery journey a couple of years ago, of which I am obsessed and in love. And as I was doing it, I was visualizing things sort of products emanating from it. So I developed a tile line which is launching at Coverings this year. It's so beautiful. It's also just a play of materials. There's marble and glass and just everything, ceramics obviously. Then I've just designed a collection with Abner Henry, which is launching in High Point, which my love of drapery has abounded because I designed it after drapes. It's a furniture piece. Rugs, I've just launched a rug line.
Wow.
I'm a very busy person.
It sounds like you're a very busy person. And I want to go back to what you were speaking of earlier, being raised in South Africa. I would imagine you travel quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And how does that influence your use of color in design?
So it's so interesting. So South Africa, I think has a huge impact on what I feel about design, especially because there wasn't access to everything that you get here, so you had to be very creative. So you never always started with the thing. You kind of had to make it your own, and I think I've continued that down the line. That's why I think wall detail is so important to me, because the amount of wallpapers was limited, and so a lot of woodwork, a lot of millwork was really important in my aesthetic. But also, South Africa was very hot in Europe's trails with design. Mm-hmm. As Europe did something, South Africa would follow shortly. So that was a great lesson as well. Travel to London, to Malaysia, Middle East, to all over the world, and every single time you leave your front door, whether it's from home or on an aeroplane 12,000 miles, there should be something there that's interesting to you, that catches your attention.
That you can bring back
That you can
and
bring
then
back.
incorporate into your work.
Mhm.
I have to say, a long time ago.
This is my house.
This is your house.
This
Okay.
is my house.
Well, let's talk about it. What have you done on the walls? And look at that bar.
Yes, so this is a Chiba wallpaper, which I absolutely love. We used, you know, my husband does love his beer, so he obviously needed his keg. I mix materials. I love the terrazzo, I love the leather strap. I love the amount of color, but it never feels. Oh, and there's my pink pottery in the corner there.
Oh, that's so pretty. That pop of pink.
Yeah, it never feels overwhelming. And in fact, my husband hosts poker nights, and this is a man's room, and they love it. And they come, and that's my stairwell. That again is plaster art in the stairwell. So I truly. I put my money where my mouth is, and I do use color in my own life.
And you're a guinea pig on yourself first before you take it into other clients' rooms.
Totally.
Well, I'm seeing that, you know, this is a beautiful sort of blush pink, and then in the room that we showed before with the blues,
and that's my family room.
Oh, and this is your family room, more blues. But look at that! Look at those cool chairs.
Yeah, no,
they're like swings.
Yeah, they're swings. So I designed my house so that my kids would want to bring their friends, and that we would be the hub.
Very smart.
And it is. Everyone just loves it. It feels very resort. Everyone loves being here. It's a really happy environment.
But this goes back to how you were raised. And you know, when I was in South Africa many years ago in Cape Town, and I was shocked at the access to nature, almost the mountains and the hiking and the beach, and it was just like you feel like you're very much in a city, but you also feel like you're in the country at the same time.
There's a plant that you can. There's a species of plants you can only get in Cape Town called fynbos, which has this particular smell that hits you as you get off the aeroplane. That doesn't leave you. And we had an apartment on Table Mountain, and I will tell you that there is nothing better than waking up and just seeing that view and that vision.
Yeah,
and
I think I hiked that mountain.
Oh.
My husband is from Colorado, so we were on our honeymoon, but did a lot of hiking in Cape Town. And I don't know, I was just really enamored with
It's magnificent.
With the place.
And Stellenbosch, and you know, the most similar I've seen is California. Like the Big Sur is very similar to South Africa.
Wholeheartedly. We actually went to the botanical garden in Cape Town. I could not believe the species of plants and flowers.
It's insane. Did you see the Dylan Lewis statues?
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes.
we have two of them. They are so beautiful. He is such an extremely talented artist.
Well, I can see how you are inspired by South Africa, and you bring that into your work that is incredibly beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your love of color with us. I've learned so much from you. Thank you very much. Coming up next, we shift from bold palettes to serene spa-like spaces. We're joined by interior designer Alison Handler, who's redefining the modern bath. Stay with us.
Brought to you by GE Profile, smarter innovation for life, uncomplicated.
This is your new kitchen assistant. Grocery planning shouldn't feel like a chore. There's a smarter way to handle your grocery list. With Scan to List, just scan items as you finish them, and they're instantly added to your digital shopping list, even while someone else is doing the shopping. Or have your groceries delivered directly to your door. Food waste happens, but it doesn't have to. With Fridge Focus, an interior camera keeps you connected to what's inside your fresh food drawers, so you never end up with duplicates or let fresh ingredients go to waste. Meal planning doesn't have to be stressful. Give your brain a break and follow simple step-by-step guides with a built-in recipe app. With plenty of recipes to choose from, your next inspired meal is just a tap away. Scan the QR code to learn more about this GE Profile refrigerator.
As KBIS celebrates innovation and creativity in kitchen design, Homeworthy brings you 5 extraordinary kitchens selected by our editors. Think dramatic patterns, historic designs, and beautifully layered spaces from tastemakers redefining how we live and gather. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
One of my favorite parts of the apartment, which truly I thought I would renovate the kitchen. I thought I would. So when I moved in here, I was like, I'm gonna renovate the kitchen, even if it's a rental, I'll put my own money into it. But I've actually grown to love my kitchen. It's the biggest kitchen I've had in all of my apartments. And it is very like mid-century. The actual material of the kitchen is great. It's from Biophilic, which is an Italian brand that makes incredible kitchens. And the one thing I would say is that I have the tiniest sink in the world. That's what I would change. This is not great for someone who washes lots of dishes like me. But the fact that, you know, I have 5 burners and 2 ovens and a lot of pantry storage is amazing. And I've added like a few things, like of course I have my copper tea kettle, which I love. So there used to be glass doors on these, and I really like the open shelving concept. So I took them out. I was not able to take off these hinges, so they're there and they're gonna stay. But I do love the open concept of seeing all the dishes, and I also like that it's not too perfect. It kind of looks like it was kind of thrown together, and that's kind of what the whole kitchen is. You know, I feel like I'm here all the time. It's not perfect, and I do love that a home feels lived in and it's not too precious.
We had custom when I did the first renovation, and the first renovation of the kitchen was 15 years ago, and it was just the island, only the island. So we had built this hood there. The funny was we didn't have a hood at all, and because we never met the previous owners, we didn't even know if it was roughed in for a hood, but I could kind of see a little wave on the ceiling, and I saw some grates on the outside of the house. We took a leaf, we cut the little space in the drywall on the ceiling. We put a leaf blower out there. My husband stood outside and we were like, yes, they roughed in for a hood. I mean, you don't know. They didn't communicate any of that to us. So we were so glad, we were shocked that there was no hood. And when we called the township, they were like, oh yeah, back then they were like, if you have a window, it passed code. We were like, what? So I'm happy that we were able to get a hood in here. And this hood will stay forever. I love this hood. So we pull in the copper with the ring above the kitchen table, and all throughout the stone. So the stone, you'll see it's pulling out some of that coppery, silvery, gray, white, but we'll start at the island first. So these cabinets, so Craig, which I told you, Craig, he's my cabinet maker. I said to him, listen, these cabinets, even though they're 15 years old, I take really good care of my stuff. I don't beat my stuff up. Nothing was warped. I just had him refinish some of the pieces, maybe give me a couple more inserts or drawers to add to it. So we tweaked it. I kept it, we tweaked it. I had old refrigerator drawers here. We just added the new Sub-Zero refrigerator drawers, so I keep all my berries and milk here. So there's a reason why I have the placement for everything, and all my veggies here. This is generally my workspace.
Welcome to my kitchen. This is an old farmhouse type kitchen. Originally, when we bought the property, the kitchen was through this door here. And this room was actually a dining room. It had a cream carpet and was very sort of traditional English dining room. But we realized that we needed a bigger space. We also wanted to be open onto the garden because we've got a lovely view here through to the garden and lovely far-reaching views of the farmland. So we didn't want to be stuck back at that side of the house. We wanted to sort of see this and be able to walk in and out and dine outside or pop in and out as much as we liked. So we moved the kitchen. And in deciding how we wanted the kitchen, I thought in historic properties, in historic English properties, typically an old kitchen is a freestanding kitchen. You're not going to have a continuous run of units. It just didn't exist in those days. I already had a couple of old pieces, which luckily fitted. And in this instance, I had this old dresser base, which I decided to convert into the sink unit. So we put a marble top on it. We dropped this old butler's sink into it and a typical sort of English 3-hole basin mixer. And then we also got a dishwasher integrated into that, which is quite handy. A typical sort of farmhouse scrubbed table. It also had to be super practical in this room. We've got 3 dogs, we've got horses, and in the winter, it's a nightmare because there's mud everywhere. So fortunately, when we bought the house and we lifted up this cream carpet, we discovered the original brick floors. So these floors are hundreds of years old.
It was really important for us to have a good size island. It was intended to look like it was built from old pine, and this is Carrara marble on top, which definitely gets etched, but we sort of like that patina, and we love using the kitchen. So you'll notice the range and the cupboards over there that there's scratches and dents and dings, but we do a lot of entertaining and a lot of cooking. So
now, when we first had it installed, we were worried about little scratches and chips and things like that, but over time, our friends and family came and destroyed everything, so, and we did too. It's the best kitchen for us, and we really love it. We went from having kind of the worst kitchen to having our dream kitchen. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one of the funny things about the kitchen is there's no upper cabinets. What we did instead was over one of these pine dressers, where we keep all of our dishes and bowls. So we really don't have any uppers, and we reuse this every day. And when the dishwasher is done running, we put all the dishes, and then when we serve, we grab them all. But it's really handy, and we really love it. And it's sort of enabled, I think, a different look than when you have uppers. We also did these copper pots here, which yes, we do use. Maybe not as often as we use the stainless steel, but we definitely use them. And some of them are rather old. They have really beautiful iron handles. We love the warm look of them and have enjoyed collecting them.
And polishing. We also had a lot of the hardware here you see for the shelf and the hanging made by local craftsmen. So we often find people that are local that can do some unique things like this, and also we had some of these things like this push button gangplank here done by our the same craftsman, and he stamped out the different areas that these push buttons, which we put in, light up.
Here we are in the kitchen, which is where I live. I really do. I made one huge mistake when I did this kitchen. I didn't put a little sitting area with a fireplace. I would have been there every single evening if I had, but instead I sit right here. I have all my paperwork. I have a TV, my coffee pot, and I watch TV in the kitchen all the time. And I think it's really important, if you're a TV watcher, just to go ahead and embrace it. Have your TV, it looks just fine, and it's just part of the appliances. Luckily now there's so many wonderful covers that they can do, the panel-ready appliances, and they're so important, and they really make a kitchen look seamless. I copied this kitchen after Plain English. I really love that company. It is one of my favorite companies, and we use them to design our clients' kitchens. The time I did this, they weren't here in the United States, and I was just kind of, trying to get the house pulled together. But I did look at their designs, and it inspired me very much in here. The ranges are so important. I have a Wolf. I love my Wolf range, and as you can see, I leave the pots out. I was just making chicken spaghetti day before yesterday, and I keep all of the shelving on either side is open, which I think is great. It's easy to grab something and it also keeps you honest. It keeps me from accumulating more that I can't see.
KBIS shows us that how we live, cook, and gather can be luxurious, both inside the home and beyond it. Today on Homeworthy, we're counting down our top 5 outdoor entertaining spaces. From sun-soaked terraces to inviting courtyards designed for al fresco dining and easy entertaining. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
So this is a spot we use year-round, fire pit and chairs, and we cram people in here. I mean, we've had 25 people sitting around. The ledge around the edge here is a nice seating height. That was purposeful. So people scoot in. When it's not fire pit season, we use this as a table. We throw big platters of appetizers on here. And it's just always really beautiful and nice. Even in the cold months, it's wonderful because this does kick off a lot of heat. But obviously it's all about the view. So we love this area and spend a lot of time here. When we bought the home, it was sort of overgrown and there wasn't really a front garden to speak of. So we knew that was a big opportunity. The lower yard was also quite overgrown and there was a big concrete sort of parking situation in the lower garden. So we got rid of that, and the property just presented a lot of opportunities for improvements. We knew, because we were building during COVID, we were really sensitive to being really purposeful about the spaces that we were creating and wanting to create destinations on our property that we would use all seasons, both as a family of 4, but also for our extended family and friends. So we thought a lot about what the different parts of our property could be, and I think we arrived at solutions and moments that are really special and that we actually do use. We've created reasons to go to the different parts of our property, so that's really nice.
This loggia bar that we had built off the guest house is the heart and soul of our home, because it's truly where we spend so much time with friends and family. So what in Palm Beach, what we call loggia is a structure that's attached to the building that has open air sides. So this isn't an awning, this is actually a structure that's attached to the guest house. And if you look up, we finished the ceiling with Pecky wood cypress, which is sprinkled throughout the home from our front door to our living room. It is an original characteristic of homes from the 1920s and especially old Florida. So that was a really fun detail that we wanted to bring in, matching the dark color of the wood to what you see throughout the home. My husband and I were sort of convinced that we wanted a hotel lobby type bar, not like a traditional sit-up high bar. So we had a countertop bar hand poured with pebbles and shells from concrete. It has all the peckled top and character that we really hoped it would. And so this is really the mainstay of the bar. And then the front part of the bar, as you can see, we had the Pecky cypress wood done all throughout the side of the bar as well, just to mimic the ceiling and to give it like a real grounded feel. The primary exciting piece, I just save up a lot of birthdays for this one, is the white gold pebble ice machine. I know. I grew up in Texas. I love ice, and pebble ice is like the best ice. So that was my big splurge, let's put it that way.
So right off of our bedroom is our lanai and our backyard area. We recently completely redid the backyard. We had a monstrous overhaul of flagstone removal and flagstone cutting and turf install. That was a really exciting process to do. But the backyard now is way more functional, way more aesthetically pleasing, and we're just so excited. It feels very like garden-like, it feels enchanting. It reminds us of
pools surrounded by lawn that you see in the Hamptons or in like a French countryside. So we're really thrilled with how it all worked out. And we used a local company called Turf Rocks, and they molded and sculpted the existing flagstone that we did keep to make even channels between all of the stone, and then they laid down turf. The area all around the pool, we went with a turf-only design, and we just couldn't be happier with how it all turned out. They even did countersunk umbrella holes where we have dropped in these beautiful yellow umbrellas from California Umbrella. And it gives such a nice shade. It's such a great place to hang out. We have 4 new chaise loungers from Highwood Home, USA, and they're made in the US, and they're so gorgeous. I love them. And we have new striped cabana pillows from Hackner Home, and also green and white striped chaise lounger cushions from the company store. And you'll notice when we take a walk around the pool, they're the same green and white stripe that you saw on the X benches that we are reupholstered, that we brought from New York City Curb Find. And they are the same cushions that are at the Beverly Hills Hotel. When we first saw the backyard photos for this listing, I immediately had ideas on how far we could take the design. The bones were amazing. I just knew that we could make it a little bit cozier and more functioning for our Four Seasons loving family. We are always outside.
So our favorite part of the house and what sold us on the house was this antique aggregate patio on the backside. When we first walked out here, I didn't need to see the inside of the house. I was already sold. So we've tried to dress it in a way that I think it should have been dressed for the time. And so we've brought in these, I collect these Francois Carré. They are 1920s Art Deco. And we've painted them all monochromatic in this really pretty sort of jade green. Since we have a small kitchen, but the kitchen's right off the patio, I also collect terracotta pots. So I've got a bunch of these terracotta pots out here that are filled with herbs. So if you're cooking in the kitchen, you can just come out to the patio, take a little clipping to take in for whatever you're cooking. It's kind of nice. It's just another extension of a really small space. So another piece that I really like to entertain with is this antique bar cart. It's on wheels, so you can wheel it around. And my favorite way to set it up is with a Moscow Mule bar. So I have all of these copper mugs, and I do a little bowl of limes, and then your ginger beers down below. And then last summer in New England, I went to Nora Murphy's shop, and she had the cutest little bottle cooler with a little handle. And so you can carry it around. It's great for outside. It's antique brass, and I think that looks really cute on there. And then mint that we grew in our little pots on the patio. You can set it on there as well. And then another cool thing is when you're entertaining, the whole top comes off like a tray, so you can carry this around if you have guests sitting over at the table and set it down.
We're standing in front of the fish pond, which is absolutely one of my favorite parts about this house.
This is a very comfortable spot for us out here. In fact, it's a great space to entertain friends, and especially in the summer. And from here we can see the front facade of the house, and we can see the greenery all around us. And we can also, in the distance, we can see the trees from the park around the Hollywood Bowl. It's nice to have drinks out here before we go into the house, especially because we like to admire the front facade of the house, because it is so historic and unexpected, and so it's a great place to have people for drinks. One of the most unusual features of this house is its curved facade, because it's most unusual, as I said, a very unusual feature of the house, and it has this balcony with the gargoyle, which we had to replace. So it has the balcony with the gargoyle, but you can see that unlike many other houses, you can see the curve up on the roof line. And the house itself has never been painted. The surface is actually gunite, which is a kind of concrete which is used for swimming pools. It's not really used very much anymore, but it's great for us, and it gives the house a nice old-fashioned look. This is the most Venetian part of the house because it has that kind of Venetian, the window has a Venetian point to it, and it's like a long exclamation mark with the balcony overlooking the street. And in fact, the front facade of this house really has only 3 windows, and these almost don't really even qualify because they're actually French doors. That's what makes it probably one of the most unusual houses in Los Angeles. In fact, when people come to visit, I say, well, you'll know our house because it's like no other house you've seen before. And the hanging light here above the front door, which is very useful, it doubles as a spot for the birds because at the bottom, quite often the birds make their nests there. So it's kind of rather charming to come home to the cheep cheep of little baby birds.
KBIS is about the way our homes support daily life, from morning routines to evening wind-downs. Today on Homeworthy, we're counting down 5 standout bathrooms designed to feel both functional yet indulgent. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Everyone loves the powder room. I did this beautiful wallpaper, bird and thistle. This comes in a couple of colorways. I loved the green, and then I paired it with a high gloss green paint on all of the trim. This room also had flagstone, which was just not very fitting for my personal style, so I did a white marble in here with a new sink with all of these brass details and all brass accessories. Paired with a little bit neutral, like a Roman shade, just to kind of tone it down and some more natural elements in here. And this room is kind of divided up into 2, but we treated it as one room for cohesiveness. So the powder room, there's really kind of like a powder your nose area and a washroom area. And I feel like this is always a crowd favorite with the high gloss. It's a really beautiful green. We have 2 rooms in our home that are really more like dark and cozy. This is one of those rooms because instead of a traditional light fixture in here, I opted for a brass fixture. So the light fixture actually has brass chandelier shades as well. So the whole shade is metal, which is a really fun touch. So this I feel like is one of the statement pieces from the exterior of the home, this round window, and I love that they put all of the grids in. And this is actually in the stone portion of the house, and so on the exterior, it's a circle window out of the stone, which is really beautiful.
Okay, so let's talk about the primary bathroom for a minute. This is the room I was telling you that was in some publications, and that's always really exciting. I'm really proud of it because we really took it all the way down and rebuilt it. And by we, I mean our contractor, but I came up with the design. So for starters, this wall back here was actually inspired by a 19th century wall molding that I saw on eBay, and I almost actually bought the wall molding that I found and had it delivered, and then my contractor said he can recreate it, which would be way easier. So what we did was I came up with the idea of using corbels facing each other to create the arch. He just ended up having to kind of extend it a little bit so it didn't come to a point. It ended up being more of an archway, and then he added a little bit of a lip so that I can have candles or artwork. I found this tapestry on eBay, and it really reminded me of that scene in Beauty and the Beast where she's twirling around reading and singing. I love it. Again, with the bust guy. This book, it's called The Ultimate Bath. It's from Barbara Stalick, who owns Waterworks, and our bathroom is actually in this book. It's at the table of contents, which is pretty awesome. This pedestal is vintage. Found it on eBay. I loved that it was lucite. I just thought it was really funky and cool and a good juxtaposition with a more classic bust. And then this clawfoot tub is so fabulous. It's a dreamy tub. When this was featured in Better Homes and Gardens, the writer said that this space was like a living room, but instead of a sofa, it had a fabulous clawfoot tub, which I loved that. It does feel like a living space, but with a clawfoot tub in it. And I really thought this light was pretty cool. That's from Shades of Light. One thing that we did was there was a door here to the water closet, and We took it out and did a sliding door instead because it just saved space. And then I painted this and the closet the same color. This is Palm Leaf by Sherwin-Williams. And then what I love is there's a little surprise of the wallpaper in here because I kept it very simple and classic with just white. But in here, I wanted it to be a little bit of a little jewel box. And again, because it's like handwritten script, it almost looks like a diary or a storybook, in keeping with the theme of kind of like each room feeling like a storybook. So that's this. Even this, the ladder, even that has an arch shape. I wanted it to speak to the arches on the wall. These are 19th century doors I found on eBay. There were 2 doorknobs. I promise it. There's a reason why we had to take it off. It's a long story, but we put it on a slider here, and then this leads to our closet. I just thought these were so cool. Again, the arch was really cool. It was actually a blue door, and we had it stripped, and then I painted it the same color as the water closet door. But again, something old paired with something really new and beautiful like these knobs, I thought was really special. And then again, a little arch in that artwork and more statues.
This is my bathroom. I mentioned this is his and hers, so this is my bathroom. And I used a vinyl wallpaper, very affordable. It's by Brewster Home. It comes in another colorway. These cabinets are from Home Depot, and I just changed out the knobs over the years a couple of times. And since there's not like a ton of counter space, I bought this tray and I just kind of stuck it like between them, and it has a little bit of extra counter space for me. And this is just like an old candle holder and my soap pump, just to make it a little fancier. We used to have a window in this bathroom right here, but the garden room is on the other side. So I love natural light and I was missing it. So I worked with Velux. They did the sun tunnels in here and the skylights. And so this was a way to bring in some natural light.
It's cozy. We love the mirrors. We love the antique mirrors in the back. And then with these beautiful mirrors on top, I think it adds so much character to the whole bathroom. Again, we picked the pink marble tops, which I love. And then we added these little curtains underneath, you know, inspired by Santiago growing up going to his grandfather's house. And we just literally needed more space for, you know, putting all the things that you put in the bathroom. So we loved it. Our towels were done by Leontine Line Linens. She's awesome. So, you know, the beautiful monograms, our bathtub. I love like the cornice too with the bathtub. Oh yeah, and the wallpaper, the striped pink. You know, everybody was like, oh, and what does Santiago think about the pink wallpaper? And we actually, I think pink is a very neutral color. It's, you know, it's very romantic and feminine, but it's also very neutral. And especially when it goes to that mauve-like tone, I think it's very neutral and I love it. And then this fun detail, these tools I got in Round Top not so long ago. And, you know, they're from the 70s, a designer from the 70s, a furniture designer. And we've been loving them because we needed somewhere to sit, you know, put shoes on, put, you know, a towel or whatever, some space. And then the tile, I love the pink on the tile. It has a little bit of a light pink on it, and it's so fun and beautiful.
This is the bathroom that I was talking about. It originally was a Jack and Jill, and it was a shared bathroom which connected my daughter's room and my son's room. And so we walled it off. We ended up doing like a really cool mirror so it doesn't look like it was a breeze through. But this is his bathroom. I would take this bathroom. It has so much storage, has the double sink, Something that I think is really cool is that it has a bathtub and it has a separate shower. So it really was built to function for like multiple children, but now Ralph just gets to enjoy it. So that's pretty fun. And he has so many little like storage spaces that were here. I just, put my own spin on it, if you will. The wood paneling was originally like a wood, and so I had it all refinished and painted to white dove, which is the house paint.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Amber, and welcome to my beautiful home in Atlanta, Georgia. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
My name is Amber Guyton, and we are in my home in Atlanta, Georgia. I have lived in Atlanta before in 2010 to 2015, and then I moved to Texas and then to California. And during the pandemic, I was working full-time in tech at the time, and everyone basically said you could live anywhere. So I decided to move back to Atlanta. Cheaper cost of living, cheaper housing, obviously. And this house was built in 2020. I closed in February of 2021. It's a brand new construction home, but it's a bungalow. It was built to look like a lot of the smaller bungalows in this historic neighborhood of Adair Park. So I was thrilled to have a little bit of the best of both worlds, to have a bungalow that's brand new and easy to just move in, turnkey. All I had to do was decorate versus moving into something that looks too cookie cutter. It still has the character that the neighborhood has in all of the homes. So I have been in this home about 2.5 years, and I've personalized it with color, texture, pattern, and just my colorful aesthetic that I have as an interior designer. So this is my living room. My house, when you walk in, there is no grand foyer or entryway, but I do have some hooks on the door to hang your jacket, your bag, etc. And then you walk in and you're immediately greeted by the living room. So I have enough seating for just myself and my dog, but ample seating if I have some friends or family over. This is the only TV in my home. I'm not a big TV person. I'll watch TV. A lot of times it's just on for noise, but I love the Samsung frame because you could turn it into art when it's not on, just play some music. It's beautiful. It's flush to the wall, and it takes your attention off of the electronics, and you kind of just are enveloped by everything in the space. So the first thing I did when I moved in the house, as I mentioned, is painting. So because the ceilings, the lofted ceilings in here are kind of high, I just went about 5 feet up all the way around, just so the space wouldn't feel too dark, but also still have enough color. You can see that I added plantation shutters and drapery to the windows. So I still get a lot of good light, but it's a great way to kind of adjust how much light, natural light gets in the space. And then the curtains, I just love putting curtains up, even if they're not functional. They just kind of frame the window and add a little character to the window frame. So my coffee table, I love, it's called the art display coffee table because the surface is glass, so you could fill the bottom with coffee table books or anything that you wish to be seen. I've got a ton of coffee table books filled with interiors and Black artists and all the things. I always have some magazines on top for casual reading, and then this tray is filled with things like sage and fresh flowers, candles, just things to kind of set the mood in my living space. And I like that it's wide enough that if I do have some friends over and we're playing cards, or we have like a charcuterie board and wine, like it's more than enough space for us to fill the surface with.
Great design isn't just what we see, it's how we live. And at NKBA KBIS, we believe great design begins with connection. Connection to people and products, to insight, to opportunity. We are a global community of creators and innovators, designers, builders, brands, educators, coming together at KBIS, the largest North American event for kitchen, bath, and whole home design, where borders blur, ideas collide, and the future of design is on full display. Our award-winning research reveals what's now and what's next. From design and lifestyle trends to economic forecasting, we equip our members to lead with confidence. At NKBA, we believe growth is a journey. That's why we offer industry-recognized certifications and continuing education that elevate every career stage, from student to CEO. Whether you're mastering sustainability, smart home design, or business strategy, we give you the tools to lead with purpose. And with 70-plus local chapters, NKBA connects professionals where it matters most, in your community. Because connection doesn't end when the show floor closes. It lives in the relationships we build year-round.
Nobody has welcomed me like the NKBA. They've become my friends and my family and my community.
I launched Free Power at KBIS 2024, never having been before, and it was the best thing that we've done for the company.
Anyone that's looking to become a certified kitchen and bath designer, do it for yourself, do it for your business, and do it for the valuable insight you will get into this industry.
From the kitchen to the bath and the spaces in between. From your first project to your next breakthrough. From local communities to the global stage, we are empowering design through connection. Join us and help shape what's next.
Welcome to KBIS, the premier destination for luxury kitchen and bath design.
For any of those luxury designers that specialize in kitchen and bath, they absolutely view KBIS as the place to come. They know that everybody is going to bring their best, showcase beautiful design.
KBIS is huge for seeing what products are out there. The luxury is really in the details. It's really about curating an environment that really elevates your daily life.
Here, industry-changing innovation meets unparalleled sophistication, designed to inspire and elevate your projects to new heights.
Whether you are a designer or design support or project manager or a specifier, there is something for everyone who touches the home in some capacity at this show.
KBIS is such a wonderful show because there are so many brands here and you see so many innovative products.
KBIS is more than a show. It's an opportunity to enhance your craft and stay ahead of the curve.
The subject matter, the experts who are there, they're really talking about how we bring luxury into design, whether it's kitchen design, bath design, or interiors.
And having great education, like in Luxury Lounge. I mean, these are really great opportunities for designers to stay on the forefront of what is coming.
This is where luxury designers, architects, and brands cultivate new relationships and grow their business.
It's about collaboration. It's about coming together, the design community, talking about topics, sharing our knowledge with each other.
The networking, the brands that come to this, the educational opportunities. I know that when I come to KBIS, I'm going to get a chance to speak in person to some of the designers that I really want to talk to.
Be inspired, elevate your vision, and join the industry at KBIS.
Well, I think it's the premier event. I think this is the place to be. So there's nowhere else to be but KBIS.
Today on Homeworthy, we're taking you to Toronto to meet Alexandra Gator, a home decor expert who connects with millions through her home makeover videos on YouTube. Alexandra makes design accessible for renters and homeowners alike and believes everyone deserves to live in a beautiful space that feels like home, no matter their budget. Alexandra's own home is full of character, DIY projects, and a lot of pink. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hey Homeworthy, my name's Alexandra. Welcome to my home in Toronto. Come on in. Hi, I'm Alexandra Gator. I am from Toronto, Canada, and I am a home decor YouTuber. So I actually go into people's spaces, usually rentals, usually small spaces, and make them over with my team. The makeovers are completely gifted, and the goal is really to show my YouTube audience that it's possible to live in a beautiful space no matter what your decorating experience is, no matter your budget. I am also the author of a coffee table book called Own Your Space, where I walk through really simple, easy ways you can make your rental feel like home. So I live in a rental apartment within an old Victorian home. This home was actually built in the 1800s, so it's a heritage home here in Toronto. I personally love living in an older home because it's filled with character. And when we moved in, it was really a blank slate, and I changed a lot, and thankfully have landlords who were just so game for me to do whatever I wanted. I know people are always curious, like, what's your design style, or what design styles are you drawn to? And to be honest, I'm always stumped on that question because I feel like I love so many different styles. And something that I have really learned is to just buy what I love instead of trying to match a specific style. But if I had to narrow it down, I would say I love eclectic design, I love boho design, and I really love color. With a neutral base. So lots of colorful accessories, and I love bright spaces, like Scandi spaces. I love the brightness, light wood tones. So I guess to sum it up, I would say I love an eclectic design style and lots of color. Welcome to my living room. This is the space my partner and I spend most of our time in, I would say, and it also was the hardest room to design. I could not get this space right. I actually made it over 3 different times, but I feel like it's finally in a space where I'm happy with it, I love it, and it's just really, really comfortable. I think one of the main features of this living room and this entire home is the iconic stained glass. It lets in rainbows in the afternoon, which is so cool. Like the sun pours in and then there's these rainbow shapes on our wall. Another thing is the molding. I love all the molding in this space, and I really kind of leaned into that when I was making over this wall. This wall was so difficult to get right because it always just felt really blank, really open. I didn't know if I should paint it a color, but I landed on this peel and stick molding actually from a brand called Luxe Architectural. They sell these panels that you can just stick on the wall. I painted them the same color as the wall. They look like they've always been here. And I feel like it really complements the original molding in the home, like again, adding that character. And it filled the wall a lot. Even though it's a simple detail, I felt like it really completed the space. I added 2 squiggle wall sconces from my favorite lighting retailer called Mitzi. And this TV, it's actually the frame TV from Samsung. It's supposed to look like a piece of art on your wall, so it's not this black box staring at me constantly. I love it. Underneath, this is a piece I've actually brought with me apartment to apartment. I will actually add that a lot of these pieces I've kind of collected over time, and that's what I love about home decor and rentals. You can invest in these pieces that you bring with you space to space. So this bench was white at one point, then it was actually black. It's actually a custom stain that my handyman Graham came up with for me. He mixed it custom for me, and I love the color.
This was our home. the place where my husband Issa and I celebrated the birthdays of our 2 kids, marked milestones, and built our lives together. And then, in January 2025, it was gone. In just one night, everything we had poured our hearts into was reduced to ash, along with 18,000 other homes across Los Angeles.
It's like, gone here, gone here.
This is the story of how we're designing our way back. I'm Alexandra Azat, an interior designer, and together with my family, we're rebuilding one of the first homes in our neighborhood to rise again. Together, we'll transform this empty lot into a home full of heart and hope. This isn't just about bricks, wood, and paint.
This is the only rafter tail from our original house that made it through the fire.
It's about reclaiming what we lost, building something even more beautiful.
Oh my God.
And finding joy again in the process. We want to bring you along for the journey, not just for the rebirth of our home, but our entire neighborhood. The hard decisions, design breakthroughs, setbacks, and moments of hope. Thank you for being by our side in designing our way back.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
It's like, gone here, gone here. Very, very odd.
Hi, I'm Alex Azat.
I'm Issa Azat. Good to see everybody. We're here in Altadena.
I grew up in New York, the suburbs of New York, so it's actually very similar to where I now live, which is Pasadena, Altadena area. And I am an interior designer here in Altadena/Pasadena.
So I grew up in South Pasadena, but my mom was raised here in Altadena. So my grandparents were up here, and I spent a lot of time in Altadena. I spent some time away on the East Coast, but came back, met my wife, and we've been living in Pasadena, Altadena, for the last maybe about 7 years, and all my family's here, and we love it here.
We bought our dream house about 1.5 years ago, and everything about it was a dream for us. Like the aesthetics, where it is, the yard. We have a Great Dane, so having such a large yard for her, just pretty much everything about it we were very, very in love with.
Single-story ranch with some land.
Yeah, I remember being in the pool in December, or like early January maybe.
It was right after New Year's.
Yeah, and I looked at Issa and I said, I hope nothing changes because I'm so happy here.
You jinxed us.
I jinxed us. It's all my fault. But, you know, obviously January 7th, you know, fire happened and we lost everything.
Everyone lost everything. It was a
whole lot of people lost a lot.
I will never in my life forget the moment I knew our house was gone. We were at my brother's house about 5 or 6 blocks south, directly south from where we are sitting right now. And we had spent the morning trying to get up to our house and just navigating through what felt like a surreal movie. You know, houses were on fire, fire trucks were everywhere, cars were exploding.
We were driving down the street and there was literally fire at both sides of us. And I was like, we are parents, we can't do this. So I made him pull over.
Yeah, we went to my brother's house and my brother was putting water on his roof of his house. And so I parked the car in the backyard and Alex stayed in the car and me and my brother were outside. And I basically told him, look, I can't leave my wife.
I wasn't letting him go.
Yeah, I was like, you go up. And he's like, done. So he got about halfway up and got out of his car and ran up a golf course.
Hey, Homeworthy fans, Garrow Kedigan here.
New York City interior designer. Those of you who know my work know that I shop the Paris flea markets extensively, and today I'm going to let you in on a few secrets to the tricks of the trade. So the Paris flea market is actually technically not in Paris. It's actually just outside of Paris. The Porte Clignancourt is actually just adjacent to the Paris city center. So actually when you take a cab, I always tell my clients to make sure you tell the cab driver that you're going to the Marché aux Puces in Saint-Ouen, Rue de Rossier. Rue de Rossier is where most of the markets are. And if you tell the cab driver that you're going to Rue de Rossier and you're not specific about Saint-Ouen, he might take you to some random place in Paris. Each of the markets has its own specialty. But as a New York City interior designer, I really want to focus in on the ones that feature the furniture and the lighting. These are the Serpette Market, which is the indoor market, and the adjoining Paul Bert Market, which is the outdoor market. Come on, let's take a look.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
It's easy to become overwhelmed in the Paris flea markets because there's so much to see. But I always tell people to come prepared. Of course, as an interior designer, I always come with my furniture plans, some fabric schematics, and of course, a list of all the things that I'm looking for and a measuring tape. It's key. You have to measure and see what things are. Scale is very important, of course. When you're looking at things in the flea market, sometimes you'd be inspired by the most amazing, gorgeous things that you might not have on your list. There's always room for something fabulous in your house, that's for sure. Bonjour, monsieur, ça va?
Bonjour,
ça va bien?
Merci.
Merci. This is one of my favorite little booths here in the flea market. I've bought many things from Monsieur Olivier. He has the most wonderful collection of mid-century modern pieces. I've bought many light fixtures, and this fabulous coffee table caught my eye the other day. Fits perfectly, I think. In one of my projects. Of course, when you're shopping the Paris flea markets, you'll see so many great things, but the important thing is to keep in mind that you understand the scale and the size of the pieces that you're considering. So that's why it's critical to have a measuring tape. I always carry around a small one in my pocket because, you know, sometimes the larger ones get very heavy. But it's always actually very helpful to have the centimeters on one side, because they like to do everything in centimeters here, and the inches on the back side. It works perfectly. Bonjour Frédéric,
Salut,
ça va?
ça va?
Oui, bien,
bien?
merci. Bien.
Ça fait plaisir de te voir.
Merci. Je viens toujours mon vendeur favori. I always have my favorite vendors, of course. And Frédéric is one of them. It's called Simonet. You should follow them on Instagram. Fabulous stuff. Look at these wonderful chairs. Les chaises sont magnifiques.
Oui.
Ils sont italiennes.
Exactement.
Et
Elles
vous
sont
avez combien?
italiennes. Il y en a 6.
6.
Elles sont très élégantes.
Wow, oui.
La couleur est très très jolie, c'est un noyer blond.
C'est vraiment beau.
Ouais, j'adore.
Oui, j'aime le petit détail.
Ah ouais, sur les pieds.
Les pieds.
Ouais, elles sont vraiment très chic.
Wow. Look at this beautiful detail. See how the leg flares out at the bottom? Such a subtle but beautiful detail. Of course, I always have to recover all my stuff when I buy it, but it's always nice that the vendors actually take such pride in their beautiful pieces and they actually recover them in brand new fabrics. How fabulous would these chairs be in a house in the Hamptons? I'm working on a fabulous project in Southampton, and I think these would be the perfect breakfast chairs in there. What do you think?
Welcome back, everyone. Joining us now is interior designer Alison Handler, who is celebrated for her sophisticated spaces layered with natural textures and modern luxury. She's here to talk about the art of the modern bath. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Who doesn't love a beautiful bath?
Who doesn't?
What do you think makes a luxurious bathroom?
I mean, it's all of the elements combined together, right? Like every detail has to be thought through, you know, from the marble to the, you know, the wood that you're using for the vanity, and, you know, the cabinet hardware is always an underutilized, or it's unsung hero, I would say. I think, yeah.
Okay, so we actually have a bunch of images,
Okay.
some of your projects that we have that we're going to pull up in just a moment, and I thought it could be fun to just talk through them so you could point out different finishes, different things that you've done.
Love it.
All right, so here we are. What are we looking at now?
So this is a beautiful bathroom that we did. So what's very interesting about this bathroom is we had the idea to do backlit mirrors. No, too late.
I love a backlit mirror.
Wait.
Okay, it's going to come back.
It's going to come
but
back.
Let's talk about this one next. This is I love the ottoman that you have.
Thank you, yes. So again, like just all about texture here between the tile and, you know, the lighting, all about the texture on this one.
And the beautiful natural light that you have coming into the bathroom.
Yes, that
which
never
I guess
hurts.
You don't always have.
Yeah.
Do you generally like neutral baths?
Yeah, typically, yeah.
What about the
Gotta
stone?
love the exterior stone here. Yeah, it was all about the exterior stone, the chandelier over the tub. Yeah,
and what kind of tub is that?
It's just a regular tub that we did in a custom color.
Really pretty. But this looks sort of like fancy, this tile here.
It is fancy. It's my favorite tile.
It is?
It's fancy. It's Zalige. We use it on, again, almost every project. And this one we laid in a fun pattern. This is also a Zalige and a mosaic.
So when it comes to tile, you can really add a lot of personality with different styles.
Yep. Tile is probably one of my favorite things to source in general
that's
for projects. We love to have fun with tile.
So when you are starting a bathroom project, where do you start?
Tile, always.
Always tile?
Always. I start every project, period, with tile.
Okay, but then how do you know what tile to pick for the project? Is it personality based? Is it based on how much light comes to a room? How do you
go about picking that tile? Obviously, you know, when we're doing custom projects, every home is customized to the specific client's needs, whether that's color or texture or, you know, a specific marble that they love or whatever, but it always starts with tile, yeah.
Okay, so you brought up an interesting topic of marble. Are there certain marbles that are best for bathrooms, and if so, what are they?
No, I wouldn't say there's a certain marble that's best for bathrooms. I love using marble in general. My favorite marble is probably a Calcutta Gold. You know, people are always afraid of the M word, you know, with marble, but I think, you know, if you're too afraid to put it in your kitchen, a bathroom is a great place for it because you don't have to worry about, you know, the staining necessarily. You're not cooking in your bathroom, so.
And then in terms of like technology that's coming into bathrooms, what are we seeing now?
I mean, we're doing a lot of red light therapy with saunas in bathrooms. You know, everybody wants this kind of like at-home spa experience now.
Sure.
So we're doing a lot of that. You know, the electric toilet is a big thing.
Is it really a thing?
Yeah. I just put one in my own house. It's changed my life.
Okay, so what are the features of an electric toilet?
Heated seats. I mean, how great is that? I can't believe I'm live on TV
talking about a heated seat?
Yeah. But how great is that, a heated seat? You know,
That's
I mean,
so funny.
And when you've never had one and then you have one, you can't go back.
Really?
I cannot go back, no.
So we're not just talking about heated floors anymore, we're doing heated seats, we're doing, okay.
Yeah, they're everywhere. You just walk the show, you see them everywhere. They literally open.
I know.
As you walk by, they wave hello.
I know,
Yeah.
but then I've not totally gotten on board with that yet.
Okay.
But
You'll get there.
I'll get there. Okay, here we have another classic image. I just want to talk about this since it's up.
Yep. So again, back to the marble. This one we have to touch on. This is one of my all-time favorites. This was a little girl's bathroom. So like all the elements here from the fun mirror and light, wallpaper, the Taj Mahal quartzite. This was gorgeous.
I think people sometimes forget to wallpaper primary bathrooms because they think, and I actually think this too, and so can you sort of debunk this? Putting wallpaper in a bathroom, I think that the...
Vinyl.
that's
vinyl wallpaper.
what you should use so that it doesn't start to come off the wall with the heat.
Yep.
What does that mean?
It's vinyl, so it's not paper. It's not actually paper. It's vinyl.
Okay.
And so it's not going to react to the moisture.
What about lighting in a bathroom?
I am obsessed with lighting.
It's important.
So tile is my first favorite thing to source. Lighting is my second.
Okay.
So we love putting beautiful chandeliers over tubs to give you that moment. Obviously sconces, you know, and all the recessed lighting too. I mean, that has to be carefully thought through.
All right, the big question though, when it comes to lighting, what wattage, what kind of light do you want in a bathroom?
I typically like just warm. I think it's 2700.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I typically like just warm
light.
natural lighting. Yeah.
But then you need the brighter light over the vanities so that you can kind of do your makeup.
But we always put recessed lighting over each sink. So you have you know.
Okay. What are a few other bells and whistles when you're talking about bathrooms
I said before,
that you love?
cabinet hardware, I think that's important. You know, I think that's an overlooked element that if it's done properly, it could really change the way the whole bathroom looks.
And what are we seeing in terms of like, I don't know, bathtubs and shower heads? Like what are people like? Is rainforest still like a big thing coming straight down?
Yep, rain heads are still a big thing, whether they're wall mounted or coming straight down from the ceiling. Body sprays.
Is that like all over?
It's all about the car wash shower.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's all about the car wash.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And do you like bringing color into bathrooms? Do you think they should be a serene place? Do you think?
It depends. I mean, if it's a primary, typically we'll go for more of like a spa-like neutral palette. If it's a kid's bathroom or a guest bathroom or obviously a powder, that's where we're going to have some more fun.
That's where you have a little bit more fun with mirrors and
wallpaper
and that kind
again.
of thing.
You know, light like texture, lighting. You know, this is a little girl's bathroom.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
And how did you choose the tile for that project?
I don't know. We just
had
a moment with we wanted the stripe. We did, you know, we picked 3 or 4 colors in the same exact tile and just, you know, made a pattern out of it. And I think
that looks like a toilet that's smart.
That's not.
It's not. I think that bathrooms, because they are just full-blown sanctuaries now, I don't know, I feel like if I had a really nice bathroom, I'd probably just spend too much time in it.
It's true. It's a problem.
People just hide out in their own bathrooms.
Yep.
What are you looking for trends while you're here at KBIS?
I'm just looking at what's the latest and the greatest, what's going to help elevate, you know, the work that we already do, some new ideas. I've seen some really exciting things.
What have you seen that's excited you?
So over behind us, I think, I saw metal wall panels. So it's like gilded, like brass, like textural. They can go on the backside of a kitchen island. Bathroom vanities. I'm pumped.
Had that even crossed your mind before you saw it?
I've seen it before, but I was never honestly quite sure how to execute it. And now I know.
If somebody doesn't maybe have a huge budget, they're looking on one place to splurge.
Right.
What would you recommend?
And as far as a bathroom?
Yeah, as far as a bathroom.
Lighting.
Lighting?
Yeah.
Not like the big tub. Not just
Let's splurge on the lighting because, you know, there's so many beautiful plumbing brands at all different price points, you know, that you don't need to splurge there.
Right.
Tile, you can get a beautiful marble look with porcelain, so you don't need to splurge there. Lighting, cheap lighting always shows.
Now, if you are a minimalist but still want like a layered look, how do you do that in a bathroom?
Texture. So we love adding plaster to walls, you know, whether it's in the shower itself or, on the walls. I think it's all about the texture, you know, the stain, if you're doing a stained vanity, you know, the color that you go with, maybe if you're doing reeded details on it or the door style that you choose.
So what are we looking at here? Is this a reeded detail?
That's reeded with plaster, so all of the above.
All the things that you just talked about.
Yep.
And then in terms of hardware, are there specific hardwares that you like to use in a bathroom? Or it just depends on the project?
So I personally love all drawers on my vanities like this. I just feel like it looks more elevated. So we do typically do a lot of knobs like this.
I can't even imagine all the things that I would put in those drawers. I wish I had that kind of storage in my bathroom.
It's a luxury for sure.
It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Allison, thank you so much for stopping
Yeah,
by
this
and
was so
talking
fun.
all about bathrooms
Yeah.
and trends and what we're looking
I love it.
to the future. And I need to look into getting a heated,
You need
fancy
a heated toilet.
Thank you so much for stopping by. All right, let's hit the floor here at KBIS and check out an amazing collaboration between CAFÉ and Rejuvenation. They've put together a kitchen where every appliance, finish, and detail comes together seamlessly.
Hi, I'm TK McNeil. I'm the creative director for CAFÉ Appliances. So welcome to our booth here at KBIS 2026. So really want to kind of tell you about the whole inspiration, everything we were going for in the booth, and then I want to take you around to all of our kitchens and show you some of our favorite things. So first of all, you know, we've gone through a lot of style cycles in the past few years. If you think about like, you know, coastal grandma, cottage core, all these different trends. But now the conversation in design is really turning to, you know, rooms, homes that feel like they reflect your personality, right? But when working with clients, that can be challenging because everybody wants that, you know, personal, customized look, but they don't really know what their personal style might be sometimes. So we set out this year to really talk about how to tap into those moments that you want to create in your home. So maybe it's on drawing inspiration from, you know, a trip or a memory that you really love, or maybe it's bringing in your connection to nature or something that, you know, really soothes you or calms you. Maybe it's about setting an intention for your day, seeding patterns. You know, we know that design can really change our behaviors as well. So that is how we took customization and personalization this year to really show how to make those designs intentional, genuine, and really personalized. So let's get into the kitchens and I'll talk about the inspiration there. So we're in the Postcards from Venice kitchen. And this one is all about wanderlust and bringing those vacation vibes into your home. I took a trip to Venice this past summer and I was so inspired by so much of what they had there in terms of the color palette, the architecture, you know, the gilded finishes. So I wanted to bring that look, but also the feeling that I had there where everything just slows down a little bit. You know, you savor meals and just really spend time with loved ones. So that's something I wanted to recreate in my life. That was the moment I wanted to customize to. So some of the finishes in here, you'll see this palette of terracotta and these soft kind of creamy whites, and then this smoky, deep kind of lagoon green that we've mixed in with it. And then you'll see the wall covering is something we worked on with chasing paper, so it almost looks like a hand troweled plaster. And then if you see our backsplash, some backsplash we did with mercury mosaics. It's a different mix of terracotta tones, so it has that really kind of unearthed look to it. And then we have these architectural elements. You know, we always try to incorporate some arches, but this year I wanted something a little unexpected. I found that in Europe, imperfections really give things a unique beauty. So we did kind of this offset arch. And then talk about this light fixture. You know, in Venice, there's so many wonderful glass artisans, so we wanted something with a really artisanal vibe. And then you'll see some of the gilded finishes. We have our beautiful Rejuvenation hardware in here on the cabinets and on our appliances. And so really just bringing that whole aesthetic that gave me that feeling of warmth and love in that trip and bringing it home. So that's the moment we customized to here. So now we're in our greenhouse garden party kitchen, and this is really about, you know, botanical drama. I love greenhouses and, you know, atriums, anything that has that feeling of indoor outdoor. Overall palette here is a lot of mixes of different tone-on-tone greens. We have our custom wallpaper with chasing paper, and then we worked with Sherwin-Williams on this beautiful green tone that we put on the cabinetry. We have silestone cabinet or countertops in that same tone. So it really is a drenched look, which allows your eye to move calmly through the space. So then, you know, we have the contrast is very intentional, and so we do that in our polished nickel hardware, which really just pops here. So what I love is the mix in this kitchen of kind of formal in that nickel and then in some of the silver elements, but then it's mixed with organic and those kind of rustic tones. You know, we use a lot of pottery, a lot of warm woods, a lot of warm lighting to really kind of show those two dynamics in one space. Some of the really exciting new features in here as well, you'll see our panel-ready refrigeration and our panel-ready dishwasher, as well as our matte black appliances. That's our greenhouse garden party. So this is where I envision kind of finishing my day and regrounding myself at the end of the day. So it's a very calming space for me. Finally, we're in our Cashmere Breakfast Club. So this is really driving into those trends around cashmere kitchens and that softer palette. But I really wanted it to have a little bit more color, a little bit more vibrant edge. So you'll see we mixed in still some soft greens and blues and even a little bit of like rose and peach tones in here. So the inspiration for this kitchen is, where would you want to start your morning every day? I've been getting up super early just so I can kind of ease into my day. And this is the kind of kitchen where I can feel like your day would gently unfold, right? The kind of kitchen where you set your intentions for the day. Like, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna eat really healthy. Even if you don't get to it that day, you know, those are your intentions. So it's all about wellness, and it really is the kind of space that it feels like it's perfect weather every day in here. It has this like warm lit from within glow. So we worked with Sherwin-Williams on this cabinetry color. And then there's a mix of different tones, so you get that little bit of depth in it. Also, there's a lot of texture in this kitchen, which I really love. We worked with Mercury Mosaics again on this backsplash, and there's textural details on some of those tiles. We've got texture on this island, texture on the beautiful arterial stools. So really all those elements that are really touch-worthy. Also this island, the half circle shape, it's just really easy to work your way around this. Again, it's all about softness and comfort in this space. We're seeing a lot of these islands that look like furniture elements as a driving trend. You'll also notice that we mixed metals in here, and they work so well, they all have this warm glow to them. So we have the brushed brass mixed with stainless, and then of course our beautiful CAFÉ copper hardware on all of the appliances. So you can see how that mix really works nicely together, and it gives you little points of interest, customized little moments throughout. So this, I would love to start my day here. I mean, I have started my day here for the past few days, but it's a really warm and inviting space. So that's the whole intention. I hope you love it. Please come see me if you have any questions or just want to connect. I love talking shop, especially with designers, so please come see us.
Is one beautiful kitchen, and we love everything that CAFÉ is doing. Okay, coming up next, we'll meet with interior designer Shannon Gem, who's bringing the calming power of nature into urban homes. Don't go away.
This segment is sponsored by GE Appliances. Explore good things for life, built for America.
Built for America is a lot bigger than just making a product in a building.
The best in class, best quality ranges.
Some of the highest quality top freezer refrigerators in the country.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dishwashers every day.
In comparison to our competitors, nobody else has the distribution delivery capabilities that we do.
We run over 72 miles of steel a day.
We are designing them, we're sourcing them, we're building them, we're distributing them right here.
That's what Built for America means to me.
KBIS is about the way our homes support daily life, from morning routines to evening wind-downs. Today on Homeworthy, we're counting down 5 standout bathrooms designed to feel both functional yet indulgent. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Everyone loves the powder room. I did this beautiful wallpaper burnt and thistle. This comes in a couple of colorways. I love the green, and then I paired it with a high gloss green paint on all of the trim. This room also had flagstone, which was just not very fitting for my personal style, so I did a white marble in here. But the new sink with all of these brass details and all brass accessories, paired with a little bit neutral, like a Roman shade, just to kind of tone it down and some more natural elements in here. And this room is kind of divided up into two, but we treated it as one room for cohesiveness. So the powder room, there's really kind of like a powder your nose area and a washroom area. And I feel like this is always a crowd favorite with the high gloss. It's a really beautiful green. We have two rooms in our home that are really more like dark and cozy. This is one of those rooms because instead of a traditional light fixture in here, I opted for a brass fixture. So the light fixture actually has brass chandelier shades as well. So the whole shade is metal, which is a really fun touch. So this I feel like is one of the statement pieces from the exterior of the home, this round window, and I love that they put all of the grids in. And this is actually in the stone portion of the house, and so on the exterior, it's a circle window out of the stone, which is really beautiful.
Okay, so let's talk about the primary bathroom for a minute. This is the room I was telling you that was in some publications, and that's always really exciting. I'm really proud of it because we really took it all the way down and rebuilt it. And by we, I mean our contractor, but I came up with the design. So for starters, this wall back here was actually inspired by a 19th century wall molding that I saw on eBay, and I almost actually bought the wall molding that I found and had it delivered, and then my contractor said he can recreate it, which would be way easier. So what we did was I came up with the idea of using corbels facing each other to create the arch. He just ended up having to kind of extend it a little bit so it didn't come to a point. It ended up being more of an archway, and then he added a little bit of a lip so that I can have candles or artwork. I found this tapestry on eBay, and it really reminded me of that scene in Beauty and the Beast where she's twirling around reading and singing. I love it. Again, with the bust guy. This book, it's called The Ultimate Bath. It's from Barbara Salick, who owns Waterworks, and our bathroom is actually in this book. It's at the table of contents, which is pretty awesome. This pedestal is vintage. Found it on eBay. I loved that it was lucite. I just thought it was really funky and cool, and a good juxtaposition with a more classic bust. And then this clawfoot tub is so fabulous. It's a dreamy tub. When this was featured in Better Homes and Gardens, the writer said that this space was like a living room, but instead of a sofa, it had a fabulous clawfoot tub, which I loved that. It does feel like a living space, but with a clawfoot tub in it. And I really thought this light was pretty cool. That's from Shades of Light. One thing that we did was there was a door here to the water closet, and we took it out and did a sliding door instead because it just saved space. And then I painted this and the closet the same color. This is Palm Leaf by Sherwin-Williams. And then what I love is there's a little surprise of the wallpaper in here because I kept it very simple and classic with just white. But in here I wanted it to be a little bit of a little jewel box. And again, because it's like handwritten script, it almost looks like a diary or a storybook, in keeping with the theme of kind of like each room feeling like a storybook. So that's this. Even this, the ladder, even that has an arch shape. I wanted it to speak to the arches on the wall. These are 19th century doors I found on eBay. There were 2 doorknobs. I promise it. There's a reason why we had to take it off. It's a long story, but we put it on a slider here, and then this leads to our closet. I just thought these were so cool. Again, the arch was really cool. It was actually a blue door, and we had it stripped, and then I painted it the same color as the water closet door. But again, something old paired with something really new and beautiful, like these knobs, I thought was really special. And then again, a little arch in that artwork and more statues.
This is my bathroom. I mentioned this is his and hers, so this is my bathroom. And I used a vinyl wallpaper, very affordable. It's by Brewster Home. It comes in another colorway. These cabinets are from Home Depot, and I just changed out the knobs over the years a couple of times. And since there's not like a ton of counter space, I bought this tray and I just kind of stuck it like between them, and it has a little bit of extra counter space for me. And this is just like an old candle holder and my soap pump, just to make it a little fancier. We used to have a window in this bathroom right here, but the garden room is on the other side. So I love natural light and I was missing it. So I worked with Velux. They did the sun tunnels in here and the skylights. And so this was a way to bring in some natural light.
It's cozy. We love the mirrors. We love the antique mirrors on the back. And then with these beautiful mirrors on top, I think it adds so much character to the whole bathroom. Again, we picked the pink marble tops, which I love. And then we added these little curtains underneath, you know, inspired by Santiago growing up going to his grandfather's house. And we just literally needed more space for, you know, putting all the things that you put in the bathroom. So we loved it. Our towels were done by Leontine Line Linens, and she's awesome. So, you know, the beautiful monograms, our bathtub. I love like the cornice too with the bathtub. Oh yeah, and the wallpaper, the striped pink. You know, everybody was like, oh, and what does Santiago think about the pink wallpaper? And we actually, I think pink is a very neutral color. It's, you know, it's very romantic and feminine, but it's also very neutral. And especially when it goes to that mauve like tone, I think it's very neutral and I love it. And then this fun detail, these tools I got in Round Top not so long ago. And, you know, they're from the 70s, a designer from the 70s, a furniture designer. And we've been loving them because we needed somewhere to sit, you know, put shoes on, put, you know, a towel or whatever, some space. And then the tile, I love the pink on the tile. It has a little bit of a light pink on it, and it's so fun and beautiful.
This is the bathroom that I was talking about. It originally was a Jack and Jill, and it was a shared bathroom, which connected my daughter's room and my son's room. And so we walled it off. We ended up doing like a really cool mirror so it doesn't look like it was a breeze through. But this is his bathroom. I would take this bathroom. It has so much storage, has the double sink. Something that I think is really cool is that it has a bathtub and it has a separate shower. So it really was built to function for like multiple children, but now Ralph just gets to enjoy it. So that's pretty fun. And he has so many little like storage spaces that were here. I just, you know, put my own spin on it, if you will. The wood paneling was originally like a wood, and so I had it all refinished and painted to white dove, which is the house paint.
Sunlight on the gate, ring a bell once, yeah, you know it's fate. Marble on the floor, stories in the walls. Every corner got a reason, every hallway calls. She smiles at the door like, come on inside. Got a sparkle in her eye, got a city-wide vibe. From a broken brownstone to the U's in LA. She makes every square foot feel like it's here to stay. High ceilings, big dreams. Every home got a heartbeat. You can feel it when you step through. Yeah, you feel it when you step through. If it's got soul, if it's got style, if it makes you stop and stare a while, she's gonna show you what it's worth. There's Homeworthy, Homeworthy. From the keys to the view to the art on the wall, every space got a story, she's telling them all. Fall in love with the way people live. There's Homeworthy, come on in. Hey. Yeah. Open up the window, let the daylight sing. Vintage on the shelf, yeah, it's doing this thing. Cause I don't with a vision owner with a plan. Every house saying more than a blueprint can. See out just enough, that's the magic of talk. Turn just sip will go into a moonlight walk. It ain't just a house, it's a point of view. By the end of the tour, yeah, you want one too. Slow pan, wide shot, every detail hits the right spot. You can feel it when she shows you. Yeah, yeah, you feel it when she shows you. If it's got soul, if it's got style, if it makes you stop and stare a while, she's gonna show you what it's worth. Yeah, it's Homeworthy, Homeworthy. From the keys to the view to the art on the wall, every space got a story, she's telling them all. Fall in love with the way people live. Yeah, it's Homeworthy, come on in. Well, come in. Well, come on in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not about the price tag. Nah, it's the love and the layout. It's the life and the lighting. It's the this feels right now. From a tiny apartment to a house on the coast, she makes you feel at home wherever you go. Yeah, subscribe, yeah, you know the vibe. Every episode feels so alive. One more tour, just one more night. Watch your homes blow in a different light. If it's got soul, if it's got style, and it's stop and stare a while, she's gotta show you what it's worth. Yeah, it's Homeworthy, Homeworthy. From the keys to the view to the art on the wall, every space got a story, she's telling them all. Fall in love with the way people live. Yeah, it's Homeworthy. Welcome in. Welcome in. Make yourself at home.
Welcome back, everyone. Joining us is Shannon Jem, founder of Gen Design Co., to chat about how to bring nature into urban homes and create serene, livable sanctuaries. Well, speaking of gems, look at the necklace.
I have a Peter Pan collar on.
I love it.
It feels vintage, and I love like a awesome restoration of a historic place. So anything vintage has my heart.
I think it's great. And we're talking about something, though, kind of the exact opposite of Bejeweled. We're talking about how to bring nature into your home.
I love to talk about it because it's unexpected. I think everyone kind of expects you to go, oh, it's plants. Bring plants.
Right.
Bring some plants
But
into your
it's
home.
so much more than
it's
that.
It's never plants.
Oh.
Well, actually, bring some plants. I mean, why not? You're not going to go wrong or make a huge mistake if it's a bunch of plants. But there's so much more to it, and it's literally evidence-based and scientifically proven, and it's shown to make a better quality of life for the human beings who inhabit the space. So that is awesome.
So how do you do this? How do you work your magic?
Can I just tell you that I'm so excited that you're interested in this, because people, it is like my favorite thing to talk about. I think that there's 3 key ways to do it. Well, first there's the architecture. If you can do it in the architecture, if you are lucky and you're doing like a brand new build, or if you have control over that, you definitely want those long views. Our eyesight is literally getting worse as a species, and it's because we're very short view at this time, but we're built for long, long views over the savanna.
Oh.
So I know, right? So it calms us down. It settles down our nervous system. It slows our heart rate.
Okay.
It really does a lot of beneficial things for us to have these long views. You can create similar things with art that emulates that nature. And that's like proven since the 70s to accelerate healing by a guy called Roger Ulrich. And we really appreciate all of his research because proving that it had healing principles made us go, oh my gosh, can this work for everybody in every home, every business, everywhere? And the answer is yes. Yes, it can.
How did you become interested in this topic? I love your passion for it.
I'm really, really excited about it because, you know, you think when you start in interior design, maybe whatever background you come from, you might come from a background where you go, oh, I'm trying to assemble pretty things.
Sure.
But then you start thinking, am I just putting a thing on a thing? I don't want to just put a thing on a thing. But
it's much more intentional.
Yes. I got to work with ASID Los Angeles on a feasibility study for their Ronald McDonald House. And that project provided UCLA education on the principles of wellness and, you know, those kinds of practices. And my mind was blown. I was like, what we are doing is actually incredibly important.
Sure.
And a lot of designers are doing it just accidentally. It just is what good design is.
So if somebody wants to use some small touches of nature to make a big difference, how can you do that?
I think you can definitely filter light.
Are we looking at kind of filtered light now? What are we looking at now?
Yeah, we're looking at well-placed windows with the right, so they're not in the blaring western elevation. We are looking at windows that open a certain way. See how they open accordion? That was to capture sound, not noise. So this home is situated in such a way that there is noise, but these windows open to allow the sounds of the nature of the yard and the pool, and not the noise of the street.
And what about this room?
This room has beautiful filtered light, sheers there, and a lot of control over light. So that really helps us settle down too, to be able to control our environment by shedding shades, by having sheers, privacy, texture. Texture is a really big thing for humans. We like to feel the texture of things. That's literal natural grass, you know.
Oh, on the headboard.
Yeah, so you can have that.
With a few flowers.
With a few flowers. Plants. Finally plants. And, you know, a blanket that's hand woven. Oh. We like to be connected to each other. That's another thing humans really love. So a handmade thing, if it's a pottery bowl, a small, small touch, can add a little bit of humanity and make us not feel so lonely.
So you're really talking about all the senses. You're talking about scent, you're talking about feel, you're talking about all of it.
Isn't it weird how it's just basically good design?
Yeah.
So everyone's walking around using the biophilic principles and biophilia accidentally.
How, you mentioned noise earlier, but how do you manage noise in a home?
Oh, definitely, I think it's the textiles. And there's this funny thing of, in a world of allergies and in a world of concern about cleaning, sometimes people want to step away from drapery and rugs. And I really, really have to try to shift them with my professional opinion, because human beings and wool have a 6,000-year relationship.
Oh.
People have been using rugs since the dawn of humanity as we know it. So we know how to live with wool. We know how to clean wool. We know how to clean textiles. We understand these things, and having them dampen sound, because a lot of what noise is the repeat. that happens when sound bounces around in a space. So you're hearing the echo. And then if you think of it like a super ball, one of those really bouncy balls, if it hits a drape, it's going to stop.
Right. So pillows, blankets.
Fabric headboard. This is that same house.
You feel almost cocooned. Like you're, I don't know, you're building your nest with lots of different layers. And then are there certain colors that you like to use to calm the system, or is it not so much about color?
It's a lot about color. I see the palette from outside. I think that that's the most, wherever you're working in the country, we work all over the country. And I love that first trip when I'm landing on the airplane, because I take a zillion pictures to say, this is your palette. You know, this is the palette.
This is your surroundings, and you should really work the indoors, the outdoors inside.
I think so. And it's really affected by the use of the space too. I mean,
sure.
Nighttime is going to be different. A nighttime space is going to be different than a daytime space. So you might be a little more contrasty in a daytime space, flooded with daylight, and you might dial that back in a nighttime space.
You talk a bit about horizon lines being important for your work. What does that mean?
It means, so if you're looking in a kitchen, because we're at the kitchen and bath show, so I'm, thinking about kitchens, and you think of that backsplash and that line that it can create, or a wainscot in a room, that is a horizon line. So if you don't have the benefit of some really long room, if you have a small space, you might just divide the wall, and it gives your body a sense of grounding. And by all these things, I mean, slow the heart rate, reduce a cortisol reaction, reduce the possibility of having elevated cortisol, serotonin release, dopamine release. These are the things that you get when you look at one of the, this is a real horizon line.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
But if you're not lucky enough to have one, you can make one.
You can make one.
What about this photo? It's going to go away in a second, but it's beautiful.
This is handmade tile, and this is a home in a more urban environment. Beautiful, with beautiful vistas, but definitely that handmade.
Look at that. Where is that?
That's a true horizon line in a beautiful area of California called Moore Park with really big ranches. That's where, there's a show called The Biggest Little Farm, the documentary. That's right next door.
And this is
flowers, plants.
Right, but sort of the opposite of what we just saw.
Yeah.
You leaned into color here.
Yep, this is a very urban, beautiful modern house. And so we have the walnut to ground it, and then we have flowers. We got horizon line, we have a really well-placed view here, and that's a lake. So you're not gonna go wrong you're not gonna have a non-biophilic reaction when you're looking out on a lake.
But even things like a simple orchid, like you've demonstrated in this photo, or just like beautiful citrus, just to sort of get sense going. Is that helpful?
It is. All the things, a wind chime, a little fountain running water, like all those things. I love a well-placed water feature outside a window, especially if there is a noise component and the client doesn't love it. Sometimes I have city clients and they're like, I love the hustle and bustle of the city. I don't want to change one thing about it.
Yeah, well, we live in New York City, and quite frankly, even though we're quite high up in a building, I can still hear sirens, and it is what it is. We do live in New York. It's hard to protect the peace, but you find little ways to make your own home a sanctuary.
And those cues that we give ourselves for the repeat actions that we do every single day, that little ceremony of getting your coffee and sitting in that certain light shaft that comes through that perfectly designed window, and sometimes it needs to be filtered because the sun is low in winter. These are biophilic moves that really create those sanctuaries, and adding that little fountain out the window, that's like your cue to go, okay, I'm here, I'm in my coffee spot.
And it can immediately calm you. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so if somebody is looking to make just a couple of easy changes to become more zen in their house, what would your top 3 be?
I definitely think, first of all, look at your light bulbs. We can't have glare. Glare is such an irritant to people, and these irritants add up and they really start to wear on you, right? And they lower your health. So don't have glare. One way to eliminate that is check your light bulbs, because we all changed our light bulbs when LED first started happening, and that was a while ago. And LED light bulbs don't necessarily fail. They don't stop creating light. they just get really weird. So you'll have one purplish light and one orangey light, and it just is like a yucky
So you're
mess.
saying have consistency.
Have consistency, and it should be around 2700 Kelvin. We know this from neuroscience. We
Okay.
know that this calms the body. So that's a warmer white light, so that warm white light. Another thing is let fabric back in. Don't avoid the rugs. I know it's hard because there's like, oh, I'm gonna get it dirty. I'm the one who's gonna ruin a rug. You're probably not gonna ruin a rug. There's always somebody who can clean the rug.
So bring that softness in.
Bring that back in because you need it. You need that sound not to repeat. And then I think the third thing is definitely think about creating those repeatable moments that cue you, that are tied to nature. That is that wind chime or that little bubbler or that little moment where you've perfectly placed that one piece of art with a light down the hall so your eye is drawn to that horizon line. Those kinds of things.
What about lighting a candle?
Oh, I love it. How do we say that word? Hygge?
Oh, I don't know.
Never
Is
known.
it Higgy or I don't know.
I've
I
never
think
known.
I've just said it incorrectly. But yes, whenever I come into our apartment, if it's sort of like evening hours, I immediately just light a candle and somehow feel a bit more calm.
You know what I love about that? Don't you think that humans, you needed fire and
Right,
water.
right.
So it was part of your ritual every single day to go get your water, to light your fire. So of course that works.
Part of the
course
human
that works.
DNA going back.
It's a gift from our ancestors. It's
Agreed.
in our bodies.
This has been so much fun. Shannon, thank you so
you.
much for trying to help a New York City gal here find her center. I'm going to take some of these tips back home with me. Thank you so
Love
much
it.
for
Thank
stopping
you. Thank you
by.
for having me.
And coming up, everyone, I am so excited about our next segment. Homeworthy producers got an exclusive look inside Monogram's elegant and sophisticated booth with their equally elegant and sophisticated creative director, Richard T. Anaskevich. He's told us all about the creativity and innovation that informs their superb designs. Take a look.
Hey Homeworthy, it's designer Richard Anaskevich, creative director of Monogram Appliances. We're so excited to welcome you to our latest concept at KBIS 2026, the iconic kitchen. Come along with us. So here we are in our full immersive environment. This year's exhibit is all about quiet luxury. It's about tone-on-tone neutrals. It's an architectural story with a unique material point of view, and so we're so excited to share this with you. First, we have this beautiful fireplace concept. We have these wonderful natural slabs by Artistic Tile. Complemented with the fireplace is this Mappa burl wood refrigeration armoire that I designed with bentwood cabinetry. It's designed like a fine piece of furniture, but it's actually our 36-inch French door refrigerator with bottom freezer. Behind me, we have our 30-inch hearth oven. It's the market's only open-face oven that's self-venting and non-combustible. Below it is 24-inch refrigeration drawers cladded in stone by Artistic Tile. You'll notice the beautiful texture on the walls is actually a plaster wall covering from Philip Jeffries. What's also complemented in wall covering is this beautiful bar concept, which is a moire wall covering where we carried it up the full wall, featuring our 15-inch ice maker, 24-inch beverage center, and 24-inch wine unit. You'll notice that the kitchen today is much more than that once utilitarian space. It's certainly the living room, and that's why it's important to bring in soft goods, where we have a lot of beautiful furniture and art and accessories by Four Hands. Also, the return of the kitchen table. We have this beautiful banquette, where I actually took an antique rug and I upholstered the banquette and wall in that same rug material. Again, beautiful furniture by Four Hands. Behind me, our kitchen concept. You'll notice this very monolithic style decked-in table. So it's a Cosentino fully sustainable product, complemented by this fine piece of furniture that I designed with Grote House wood products. A really thoughtful detail is this integration of a 30-inch warming drawer. I love the idea of family-style gathering when you can all gather around the island, grab a warm plate, and help yourself to a fresh meal. Notice this tile carpet inlay, really defines the kitchen, and that's further complemented on the 6 semi-recessed pendants from the ceiling. What really commands the focal point in the space is Monogram's first take on a 60-inch range. That's defined by our titanium hood and 2 30-inch ranges paired side by side with a new dual installation kit. What further commands the space is our 96-inch tall refrigeration panels. It's the market's first and only 96-inch tall panels on the market, and that's really about commanding the presence in the room. You'll notice these beautiful tactile experiences of the handles, and those are actually produced by Monogram through the Keeler Company. That tactile experience is actually leather. It's Green Guard certified, it's rated for hospitality, commercial, and aviation applications. It's actually rigorously tested, and it's a sustainable product. I always say though, it's not for everyone. It's for someone that really appreciates fine goods materials. As we cross through, you'll notice a lot of beautiful natural light pouring into the space, and we call this golden hour, and that really again spoke to the essence of the palette that we were trying to create. I want to take you into another jewel box space, the Skullery. A kitchen today features a Skullery back pantry or back kitchen, and that's a necessity in a luxury home. Before we get to the Skullery, I want to show you these beautiful new wall ovens. This is the Minimalist collection by Monogram. It's very refined, tailored, and trim. But you'll notice that we actually have a new feature this year with an in-oven wall camera. And I love pulling in further ideas of fun texture, like for example, the baskets below. One other lifestyle element that's really fun for you guys at home, notice this bookcase to the left of the wall ovens, where we actually installed a dog bowl and pot filler. As we cross through into our Skullery space, again, a Skullery is a necessity in a luxury home today. It features our Statement Collection by Monogram, which has a lot of thoughtful brass accents. Within the Statement Collection, you can get a 48-inch or 53-inch brass hood, and there's no question that commands a focal point within the room. In the Skullery, we also, of course, have a beautiful professional faucet by Callista with a hand hammer sink by Callista as well. Of course, we can't forget our four-legged friends and their sense of home, so we have a beautiful bed featured in the Skullery space. Another defining material that I think is really notable in the Skullery is that it's color drenched, meaning that we use the same color, chocolate, from head to toe within the room. Do you see this beautiful countertop? This is actually a Cosentino product titled Eklos, and this is their color Legend. Eklos is a brand new brand, and what makes it so transformative is this inlayer technology that really brings life and depth to the surface. Notice that beautiful brass edge that I pulled into the countertop to just add that extra pop of wow. I worked with Bentwood Cabinetry to design these custom cabinets featuring my signature red interiors, which is a fun pop and a special moment. You'll also notice that extra element of utility with the integrated lights within the drawer. And finally, that tactile experience that we're all searching for. Notice this upholstered refrigerator. So this is our 36-inch single door refrigerator, and it again has our wonderful bottom freezer. This material is actually recycled from old Army canvas tents. So a fun fact, it can resist flame and liquid. It's a very durable product, but it has a really interesting texture and feel. And then our jewel box moment, our unlacquered brass wine room, really adds that fun element and that excitement and what I like to call the crescendo at the end of the song. 2 24-inch wine columns paired side by side with unlacquered brass columns and featuring our brass designer collection handles. That's a little peek of the iconic kitchen for 2026. We thank you all for tuning in and hope that you gain some inspiration along the way.
Brought to you by Monogram, CAFÉ and GE Profile.
Built for America is a lot bigger than just making a product in a building.
The best in class, best quality ranges.
Some of the highest quality top freezer refrigerators in the country.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dishwashers every day.
In comparison to our competitors, nobody else has the distribution delivery capabilities that we do.
We run over 72 miles of steel a day.
We are designing them, we're sourcing them, we're building them, we're distributing them right here.
That's what Built for America means to me.
As KBIS celebrates innovation and creativity in kitchen design, Homeworthy brings you 5 extraordinary kitchens selected by our editors. Think dramatic patterns, historic designs, and beautifully layered spaces from tastemakers redefining how we live and gather. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
One of my favorite parts of the apartment, which truly I thought I would renovate the kitchen. I thought I would. So when I moved in here, I was like, I'm gonna renovate the kitchen, even if it's a rental, I'll put my own money into it. But I've actually grown to love my kitchen. It's the biggest kitchen I've had in all of my apartments. And it is very like mid-century. The actual material of the kitchen is great. It's from Biophilic, which is an Italian brand that makes incredible kitchens. And the one thing I would say is that I have the tiniest sink in the world. That's what I would change. This is not great for someone who washes lots of dishes like me. But the fact that, you know, I have 5 burners and 2 ovens and a lot of pantry storage is amazing. And I've added like a few things, like of course I have my copper tea kettle, which I love. So there used to be glass doors on these, and I really like the open shelving concept. So I took them out. I was not able to take off these hinges, so they're there and they're gonna stay. But I do love the open concept of seeing all the dishes, and I also like that it's not too perfect. It kind of looks like it was kind of thrown together, and that's kind of what the whole kitchen is, you know. I feel like I'm here all the time. It's not perfect, and I do love that a home feels lived in and it's not too precious.
We had custom when I did the first renovation, and the first renovation of the kitchen was 15 years ago, and it was just the island, only the island. So we had built this hood there. The funny was we didn't have a hood at all, and because we never met the previous owners, we didn't even know if it was roughed in for a hood, but I could kind of see a little wave on the ceiling, and I saw some grates on the outside of the house. We took a leaf, we cut the little space in the drywall on the ceiling. We put a leaf blower out there. My husband stood outside, and we were like, yes, they roughed in for a hood. I mean, you know, you don't know. They didn't communicate any of that to us. So we were so glad, we were shocked that there was no hood. And when we called the township, they were like, oh yeah, back then they were like, if you have a window, it passed code. We were like, what? So I'm happy that we were able to get a hood in here. And this hood will stay forever. I love this hood. So we pull in the copper with the ring above the kitchen table, and all throughout the stone. So the stone, you'll see it's pulling out some of that coppery, silvery, gray, white. But we'll start at the island first. So these cabinets, so Craig, which I told you, Craig, he's my cabinet maker. I said to him, listen, these cabinets, even though they're 15 years old, I take really good care of my stuff. I don't beat my stuff up. Nothing was warped. I just had him refinish some of the pieces, maybe give me a couple more inserts or drawers to add to it. So we tweaked it. I kept it, we tweaked it. I had old refrigerator drawers here. We just added the new Sub-Zero refrigerator drawers, so I keep all my berries and milk here. So there's a reason why I have the placement for everything, and all my veggies here. This is generally my workspace.
Welcome to my kitchen.
This is an old farmhouse type kitchen. Originally, when we bought the property, the kitchen was through this door here, and this room was actually a dining room. It had a cream carpet and was very sort of traditional English dining room. But we realized that we needed a bigger space. We also wanted to be open onto the garden because we've got a lovely view here through to the garden and lovely far-reaching views of the farmland. So we didn't want to be stuck back at that side of the house. We wanted to sort of see this and be able to walk in and out and dine outside or pop in and out as much as we liked. So we moved the kitchen. And in deciding how we wanted the kitchen, I thought in historic properties, in historic English properties, typically an old kitchen is a freestanding kitchen. You're not going to have a continuous run of units. It just didn't exist in those days. I already had a couple of old pieces, which luckily fitted. And in this instance, I had this old dresser base, which I decided to convert into the sink unit. So we put a marble top on it. We dropped this old butler's sink into it and a typical sort of English 3-hole basin mixer. And then we also got a dishwasher integrated into that, which is quite handy. A typical sort of farmhouse scrubbed table. It also had to be super practical in this room. We've got 3 dogs, we've got horses, and in the winter, it's a nightmare because there's mud everywhere. So fortunately, when we bought the house and we lifted up this cream carpet, we discovered the original brick floors. So these floors are hundreds of years old.
It was really important for us to have a good size island. It was intended to look like it was built from old pine, and this is Carrara marble on top, which definitely gets etched, but we sort of like that patina, and we love using the kitchen. So you'll notice the range and the cupboards over there that there's scratches and dents and dings, but we do a lot of entertaining and a lot of cooking. So.
Now, when we first had it installed, we were worried about little scratches and chips and things like that, but over time, our friends and family came and destroyed everything, so, and we did too. It's the best kitchen for us, and we really love it. We went from having kind of the worst kitchen to having our dream kitchen. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one of the funny things about the kitchen is there's no upper cabinets. What we did instead was over one of these pine dressers, where we keep all of our dishes and bowls. So we really don't have any uppers, and we use this every day. And when the dishwasher is done running, we put all the dishes, and then when we serve, we grab them all. But it's really handy, and we really love it. And it's sort of enabled, I think, a different look than when you have uppers. We also did these copper pots here, which yes, we do use. Maybe not as often as we use the stainless steel, but we definitely use them. And some of them are rather old. They have really beautiful iron handles. We love the warm look of them and have enjoyed collecting them.
And polishing. We also had a lot of the hardware here you see for the shelf and the hanging made by local craftsmen. So we often find people that are local that can do some unique things like this, and also we had some of these things like this push button gangplank here done by our the same craftsman, and he stamped out the different areas that these push buttons, which we put in, light up.
Here we are in the kitchen, which is where I live. I really do. I made one huge mistake when I did this kitchen. I didn't put a little sitting area with a fireplace. I would have been there every single evening if I had, but instead I sit right here. I have all my paperwork, I have a TV, my coffee pot, and I watch TV in the kitchen all the time. And I think it's really important, if you're a TV watcher, just to go ahead and embrace it. Have your TV, it looks just fine, and it's just part of the appliances. Luckily now, there's so many wonderful covers that they can do, the panel-ready appliances, and they're so important, and they really make a kitchen look seamless. I copied this kitchen after Plain English. I really love that company. It is one of my favorite companies, and we use them to design our clients' kitchens. The time I did this, they weren't here in the United States, and I was just kind of, trying to get the house pulled together. But I did look at their designs, and it inspired me very much in here. The ranges are so important. I have a wolf. I love my wolf range, and as you can see, I leave the pots out. I was just making chicken spaghetti day before yesterday, and I keep all of the shelving on either side is open, which I think is great. It's easy to grab something, and it also keeps you honest. It keeps me from accumulating more that I can't see.
Welcome back, everyone. Joining us now is interior designer Ahmed Abuzanat, known for creating homes that feel effortless, connected, and beautifully curated from room to room. Ahmed, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
I know you have a big job here. You've been a judge. You've been all over the floor.
Yeah.
And we first met a couple of years ago at a KBIS Bay show house.
At a KBIS Bay show house. I believe we met in Dallas the first time.
Yes.
I did the show house, and then we saw each other again in New York.
And you've been doing more show houses and judging. Before we get into this topic, I would love to know what your thoughts have been so far on the show and what you've been seeing and judging.
So it's always exciting to be back at this show because you're really seeing it all at once. It's it's massive grounds, so it's good to see and learn the new technology with the day-to-day appliances that we take for granted. Some of the stuff that we judged also was smaller products like marble sealer won 2 awards. When it went against something that's a big appliance, right? And I think that speaks a lot to the practicality and like the designers looking for things that are functional and makes our lives and our clients' lives easy because our lives, we need to make that easy, during the design process. So it's just been exciting that way, and I'm always happy to be back, yeah.
And then does this sort of get your brain flowing in different ways when you think about technology that you can be bringing into the home?
Absolutely, yeah. Our clients are starting, we work obviously with the homeowners and we do some commercial projects, but also the clients, there are the younger generation, right? So they're more in tune with technology. Sure. And I don't like technology. It takes me a lot of effort to learn it, but I kind of have to, right? So it's one of those things where here you're getting the quick pitch, you're seeing the product in action sometimes. The Best of Show award went to KitchenAid double oven with a camera in it that basically it scans what food you put in and it does everything on its own. You don't even have to push a start button. So I'm like, I can be a good cook, basically.
Right, you're not going to burn a roast chicken.
100%.
Your smoke detector's not going to be going off. That's so funny. Well, it's really exciting to see all of the technology that's emerging. But what we're going to talk about is creating a cohesive story from room to room.
Yes.
We have a bunch of photos that we're going to share. But in a couple of sentences, how do you create a cohesive story through a house?
I'm someone who likes to work a lot with texture over patterns, so to me I find it very important that whatever textured material we're using, whether it's wallpaper or fabric or wood, hard surfaces, right, that it carries over from one space to another space, but that also allows me to have sometimes more flexibility at creating more of a unique look for each room, a different colorway. But then the wood is continuous and it's flowing from one space to another. Or maybe it's the brass hardware detail that we're using and that ties up the space altogether.
So there basically needs to be a through line of something that connects different rooms.
Yes. I mean, usually flooring is a great one, but I like also the subtle details because it's one of those things that, in my opinion, you see it, you don't really pay attention to it, but it's kind of like it just gets stuck in your mind. And when you see it again and again, it just, it reads, as a good flow from one space to another.
So I think we mentioned that we met at a show house. Lily, can we pull up the KBIS Bay pictures? I think, was that 2023 that you did that?
I did New York in 23, yes.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
No, we did a bathroom for New York.
And I think speaking of bathroom, that's not a space that should be forgotten. I mean, look what you've done here. This is beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we actually talked about this a bit on the panel today that I was on. I grew up at my grandma's home in the mountains in Lebanon.
Wow.
So, when I was tasked to do a bathroom in New York, it was an old mansion, as you remember, on the Upper West Side. And it had this beautiful architecture. So I wanted to respect that. And at the same time, I kind of wanted to pull some cues from my earlier days as a child, right? Like we had shutter windows. I remember my grandma leaving things on the sill, or, you know, she had land, so she would bring, you know, wildflowers every now and then. So it's, you know.
So this is exactly what you've done here. You've kind of harkened back to your childhood.
Yeah, yeah.
And then how did you choose the color palette?
So the architecture of the house had actually those colors on the exterior, and I wanted to, again, respect that, and I wanted to design a bathroom that people will see and think that it belongs to the house, right?
Yep.
So, and again, you know, I'm more of a modern minimalist, but I also layer things. So I can't call myself a minimalist, but my spaces are usually like two main elements, or like, yeah, and then as you see, it's like tone on tone on tone and the same stuff, but it's layered, right? There's the colors and there's textures and there's the you know, the greenery.
So like with a room like this, where do you start? You start with the tile, or you have an idea for color?
It actually started with the idea of splitting the space in two. So like one of the photos, it was showing that the space was kind of like divided into two, and by just making that one decision, I was like, it can be tile or color, or it can be the same thing, right? Like, you know, both combined. And that's what we did. We gave the what I like to call the functional side of the bathroom, kind of like the gray, light gray tones, which is the sink and the toilet. And where the tub is, we gave it the warmer feel by the window, more kind of like rustic and romantic, because that's the place you sit in and kind of like unwind and relax for a while.
It's almost like it has dual personalities in the same small space.
I've had people like walk in and be like, it's a great use of small space because you're creating two visuals in one.
Right.
But then people are joking like, what happens if I step into this one? Like, does my mood change?
Maybe.
And that's the idea, is when you sit in a tub, it's a different mood than, you know, when you're using the restroom.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we're talking about how color and texture can change a space. How do you choose the right palette to connect the rooms?
That's I feel like that's kind of like a client intake or research, or like what do they love, right? I think if you look at my work, there's a common thread that I, again, use texture over pattern. I try to keep things edited if you want, but almost none of the projects look the same. So my clients don't come to me because I do a certain style. I actually bring their personality, and I feel like that's just like an ongoing process of finding out who they are, what they like. I ask things like, you know, like, tell me your favorite article of clothing, like what color it is. And it's not like the one you go to work with, the one you vacation and party with.
It's the one you wear every day.
And yeah, and then they're like, oh, well, yellow, but like, I don't want a yellow living room. But then I find ways to incorporate hints of yellow because I know that brings them joy in a way.
So wait, is this a project that you finished up?
This is the Hampton Designer Show House that I did this summer. It was the great room. And this actually got the cover of a magazine, and I'm very happy because, thank you, because there was no client involved. So this was all
So here
me.
you're not listening, as we were just talking about, we weren't listening to a client for this.
Yes.
You were listening to yourself and what you wanted to do. And what did you want to do in this room?
So I actually came up with a scenario, right? It's a show house. You want to come up with a story, and it was in the Hamptons, and we had a photo of this young, beautiful lady with her dog. And we made this room about their bond, and that, you know, that picture was taken at her grandparents' home. And this is her modern version of it. And, you know, she's bringing all these natural elements and colors and soft textures because her dog is getting old. We came up with a whole story around one photo, and just, you know, but again, the idea was to keep it was a big space, it was completely open. Tone on tone helped basically create a cohesive room that was very rich and layered. And I love accessories and finding objects. So that's my thing, is like, you know, I'll spend X amount of time for a sofa, but I can spend 10 times more just to find the small object that's going to stand out.
The personal objects.
Because I think these are the items that you feel like somebody was buying, like was traveling and bought it on their travels, right? Like you go around and you're like, oh, you find this one thing here and one thing there, and that makes a personality for your home.
You think you can have too many accessories?
No, never.
Never?
Never.
Are you a more is more kind of guy?
Like I said, I do edit down, but I am here's a confession for you.
Tell me.
I am a ceramic hoarder. I buy ceramics like crazy because I love them.
Decorative, or do you use them?
So I swap them where I live, right?
Okay.
Like I have a whole closet full of ceramics, and I just swap them every now and then because there's something about the handmade, tactile aspect of it, and it's unique, right? So
one of a kind.
And one of a kind, and yeah.
Okay, let's talk about furniture scale and how it can make or break a space. How do you get it right?
I feel like through experience, I've definitely, learned to do it better over the years, and I think for me it's harder to convince the clients sometimes with a certain scale, right? We do 3Ds during the process, but it's an image; they don't really feel it. Right. I learned the trick from a client of a previous firm that I worked with, where she literally taped everything and started walking around. And I remember at the time thinking to myself, oh my God, you have a lot of time on your hands, right?
You're taping the whole...
You're like, you have that construction crew blue tape the floor instead of building because you wanted to walk between the bed and the dresser and see if you have enough space. Now I get it.
and now it works, and now you do it.
Now I'm like, this is how big your coffee table is, because sit down and pretend you're putting something on it, and it's all of a sudden it clicks for them, right? It's like, makes sense.
So I know you had a project in downtown Manhattan. Lily, can we pull those photos up? Because I'd love to talk about those. I think that has to do a bit with scale.
Yes, because the space wasn't big, and we had this giant concrete column in the room, and it was an open living room, dining, and a kitchen where, honestly, we could have fit either like a good-sized living room or a good-sized dining, but not both. And they really insisted on that.
Making your life a little challenging.
Of course, right? And then the other challenge on top of it was they didn't want to let go of their sofa, which was a sectional, and it would have been the opposite orientation to what I would choose. But that's the thing with working with clients, that sometimes you have these restrictions, right? So that chair we're seeing on the screen right now, when we got it first, that's from Casina, the client kept saying it's too small, the console behind it is big, like it's a bit higher. And I kept saying, trust me, it's the right scale for the room. You're gonna sit, watch TV. You don't want to see a corner of a chair. He called me about a year later saying, I just want to point out that I'm so happy with that chair, and I'm glad you convinced me not to go larger.
You were right.
I'm like, and I love saying that. I'm like, yes, I was right.
Yes, thank me.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
So it takes time to build that confidence, and trust with the client, because a lot of them, we work with them for the first time. And we're using
it's a long-term partnership, and then they trust you, and then you work together again.
It is, yeah. And we're working with people's money, even if they have a lot of it. Once you're like dealing with people's money, they're sensitive about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another place where you thrive is not just the designing of a home, but also designing tablescapes. And we saw each other last year at the Lenox Hill event.
Yes.
Tell us about the beautiful table that you designed and the inspiration behind it.
So last year the theme was La Dolce Vita, right? So it was an Italian theme, and I happened to be in Perugia in Italy like about a year before, and I remember I walked we were staying at this hotel, and then there was this small church that was part of the hotel, and I remember walking in and they were drying flowers upside down.
Oh, wow.
And the setting was just amazing. You have like these raw stone walls, and then the color of the flowers and everything. So when I saw the theme for this, I actually had to scramble through my phone and find that picture, and I decided that's going to be the theme behind my table. I'm just going to go flowers upside down, because
saw it first in Italy.
Right, there's that. And then I thought also it will stand out because I was part of it the year before, and we always start from the bottom to the top with the floral arrangement. So I was like, how can I make this stand out in a way that also is tasteful, relates to the theme? That project, that event also, the small ceramic cups, I was on a trip in Poland, and I stopped by the street market, and it's a flea market, and then I find this young girl who does ceramics, and I start chatting with her, and I was like, this is such a great gift for the guests who are going to be on the table. And I asked, and again, she does it as a hobby, so the price point was also very surprisingly good, that I was like, well, I need 20 of these. And
she had 20?
She had 13 on display, and she had to call her sister. And it was the nicest thing to experience, where She's like, I may have some back at the house, and like she called her sister who came back. You know, it was a whole thing, and people loved them.
But what a great story, and
yes,
it's a
and I kept
unique
the rest.
piece.
Because I am a hoarder.
One for the guest, one for you.
100%.
Are you constantly looking for treasures when you travel? And where do you like to travel to find objects?
I'm guilty of going to Italy a lot.
Okay.
Like it's a bit unhealthy how
And the
much.
flea markets, or do you like shopping stores?
I prefer flea markets. I'm not a planner. I just go, and we're fortunate that New York to Rome or Milan is an easy flight. You get there in the morning. But then I take the train and try to visit different parts of the country, and I'm not someone who wants to go do a lot of things. I just want to see how people live in different countries. So I walk around. I take the metro, 7 stops, and I walk back to my hotel. And that's how I stumble into things, right? I see this small shop here, or this cafe that I sit down, and all of a sudden they have a wall where, you know, they're displaying someone's work. I go to flea markets a lot because, again, it tells a story. It tells you what people have, and, you know, without being too nosy, but that's what we do for a living.
Right.
Right?
And the importance of story is so integral to home.
Also, it's interesting to see what people are letting go of.
Oh.
You know, like, why is it being sold, right? Like, there's always something
But then I
behind
think what's so nice about shopping at a flea market and shopping secondhand is that something that was once in somebody else's home is now receiving a new life in your home, and in a different way, and it just continues
100%. 100%. And I've been asked a lot about sustainability in design, right? And I keep saying it's not about just buying a product that's made out of a sustainable surface. It's giving another product, you know, new life. It's basically working with companies also that is, like, for example, be certified because they have certain ethos, right? It's beyond just buying something that has a sticker that says recyclable on, and giving something a second life is a big one.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I've found things that are in our current home that I have found on the street.
Yeah.
Like it was somebody else's trash.
Well,
it's a
New
signed
York.
it's a signed piece of art.
Yes.
It's this beautiful canvas, and it's a watermelon. And it had no frame.
Yeah.
But it's signed, and I framed it, and now it's in our dining room.
There you
so
go.
What is the phrase? One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Yep.
What's next for you?
Good question. So I'm starting to develop some product, which I'm really excited about. I probably will start, not probably will, I am actually starting on smaller product in terms of accessories, just because I would love to partner up with brands at some point, but I also want to kind of do it independently first, just so I see without restrictions, what would I do? And it is an investment, so it's taking time. But I'm starting with some product, and if you go to the next Lennox Hill, you might see some of it.
Okay, I'll be there.
Yeah, because I'm also part of that show this year. And then, you know, again, like we have some exciting projects. The Hamptons show house, I met a client there, and, you know, we're working on this beautiful beach house and just trying to keep going. And now I'm between New York and Austin, so we also started getting work in Austin, Texas. So
I'm so excited for all your
you.
success.
Thank
I remember
you so
meeting
much.
you kind of in the early days at Kips Bay, and I'm thrilled and
Thank
just
you.
excited for you and all that's ahead.
Thank you
thank
so much.
Ahmed,
Thank you for
so
always
much.
providing a platform as well.
Of course. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Happy to have you. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here. That wraps up the final day of the Homeworthy and KBIS Live Studio. From innovative product launches to the latest trends and technologies, we've seen why KBIS is the ultimate stage for the future of kitchen and bath design. We're proud to partner with the National Kitchen and Bath Association, whose leadership and vision continue to drive the industry forward and make this event a must-see for professional and design enthusiasts alike. I want to thank our incredible Homeworthy production crew for their hard work, and I want to thank you, our viewers, for joining us live from the show floor. It's been an incredible showcase of creativity, innovation, and inspiration. For more events, highlights, and exclusive design coverage, be sure to check out KBIS and the NKBA at nkba.org. And we'll see you next year. Thank you so much for being here.
citywide vibe from a broken brownstone to the using LA. She makes every square foot feel like it's here to stay. High ceilings, big dreams. Every home got a heartbeat. You can feel it when you step through. Yeah, you feel it when you step through. If it's got soul, if it's got style, if it makes you stop and stare a while, she's gonna show you what it's worth. There's Homeworthy, Homeworthy. From the keys to the view to the art on the wall, every space got a story. She's telling them all. Fall in love with the way people live. There's Homeworthy. Come on in. Open up the window, let the daylight sing. Vintage on my shelf, yeah, it's doing this thing. Cause I don't with a vision owner, with a plan. Every house saying more than a blueprint can. See out just enough, it's the magic of talk. Turn just if we go into a moonlight walk. It ain't just a house, it's a point of view. By the end of the tour, yeah, you want one too. Slow pen, wide shot, every detail hits the right spot. You can feel it when she shows you, yeah, yeah, you feel it when she shows you. If it's got soul, if it's got style, if it makes you stop and stare a while, she's gonna show you what it's worth. Yeah, it's Homeworthy, Homeworthy. From the keys to the view to the art on the wall, every space got a story. She's telling them all. Fall in love with the way people live. Yeah, it's Homeworthy. Come on in. Well, come in. Well, come on in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not about the price tag. Nah. It's the love and the layout. It's the life and the lighting. It's the this feels right now. From a tiny apartment to a house on the coast, she makes you feel at home wherever you go. Yeah, subscribe, yeah, you know the vibe. Every episode feels so alive.